for a home quarter-final tie. Win here, I think I'm right in saying, I'll get that clarified in a moment with Mark Church, BBC Radio London, but I think I'm right in saying if Surrey win at least one of their last two, they've got a home quarter-final tie. For Hampshire, really, it's just playing out the competition and playing for a bit of pride. Let me run you through the two sides, and then, with the help of Liam Dawson, Hampshire's injured all-rounder, who's with me once more, we'll go through the reasons why there's been a few changes. Certainly on the Hampshire side, there's a statement coming out. If it's not out yet, it'll be out very shortly. We'll go through it with you. So stay with us on the live stream via the Hampshire Cricket website. That's also going back to the Surrey Cricket website as well. And of course, you're listening to us via the BBC Online Cricket website as well. So Hampshire are being the home side. I'll read them out first. James Vince, captain and wicket keeper. That gives you a bit of a clue as to what some of the stuff that's going on. George Munsey, Felix Organ playing just his second T20 game. Ian Holland, Tom Scriven, James Fuller, Calvin Harrison playing his second T20 game. Scott Curry is also in the lineup here, the all-rounder. Chris Wood, Ryan Stevenson and Shaheen Afridi. Familiar names like Mason Crane, Sam Northeast and Lewis McManus are all out. For Surrey, they've made two changes from the side that beat Sussex by 4 wickets the other night at the Oval. The two changes are Laurie Evans, who couldn't play against his parent club, and also Jason Roy back after his England exploits. No Hashim Amla, no Ricky Clark. So Surrey are Will Jacks, Roy Evans, Ben Folkes the wicketkeeper, Rory Burns the captain, Jamie Smith, Jamie Overton, Gus Atkinson, Liam Plunkett, Dan Moriarty and Reece Topley. Right, I know he's dying to come in, probably even more than normal alongside me. Liam Dawson, we've got plenty to talk about in the lead up to 2 o'clock. We'll come to the main reasons in a moment, but firstly, the form of both these teams, it couldn't be more different, Liam.
No, hi everyone, hello JMO. No, it's two teams completely opposite ends of the table. Surrey, win today, books them a home semi-final in Hampshire, looking for some pride really. That's the only thing left on the game. But with a number of team changes, it's going to be an incredibly tough game for Hampshire. Yes,
it certainly is. Let me quickly give you the positions in the table. I've mentioned it's top versus bottom, but Surrey, going into this game, both these sides have 2 matches left, as do all the other sides in the South Group. In fact, the South Group is all being played at 2 o'clock this afternoon. We'll keep you up to date with those games. Surrey come into this game with 5 wins from 8 matches. They have 12 points. Below them are Kent on 10. And looking down at the other end of the table, Hampshire go into this game with just 1 win and have 3 points. Above them, Essex have 6. OK, I'm frantically looking around for the Hampshire statement. I think it's coming out around about now. So I think we're fairly safe, Liam. Having mentioned the 2 teams, and everybody's going, why so many changes? I think we're fairly safe to sort of let the cat out of the bag a little bit more. The team changes are mainly down to health reasons.
Yeah, they are. From what I understand, I think there's a potential COVID scare with Tom Alsop. So there's a few lads that were training yesterday, and obviously you've got to follow the guidelines, and that's why Northeast and who else are we saying?
Sam Northeast, Mason Crane, and also Lewis McManus. Tom Alsop, who wasn't in the last game, but also not around as well either.
Yeah, so that's what I'm guessing, is that Alsop is potential COVID. So the lads that he's been around yesterday at training, obviously not allowed in, not allowed to play. So it's a huge blow for Hampshire, but you've got to follow the rules.
Yeah, that's for sure. But interesting, Liam. It's hypothetical now, but I mean, if Hampshire were looking to win maybe both these matches, maybe one out of these last 2, and have this situation where they can't play their main players, that would put a totally different complexion on this, wouldn't it?
It would be a nightmare, wouldn't it? I mean, I'm not 100% sure what's gone on with Tom, how he's picked it up, so I can't comment on that. But I mean, if you're looking, as you said, if Hampshire were in this position to qualify and go through to the quarterfinals, it'd be a devastating blow to lose, 3 huge players in this format.
It just feels as though this is closing in a little bit now, isn't it? Because we had a game called off in the Bob Willis Trophy a few weeks ago. Was it Northamptonshire, Gloucestershire? Yeah, that's right. And then I believe there's 1 or 2 other counties now that are starting to show some signs of players coming into contact with this disease.
It's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, we've been so lucky to get sport and the amount of sport that has been played this summer from a cricket point of view on. So that's been a great effort. But I guess the only positive is that we are coming towards the end of the season now, and hopefully by the time that next summer comes around, there's a vaccine or there is a tracing system that can allow sport to continue. But because, as you said, it can hamper teams massively if there's big games to play on and teams are going down with their big players with COVID.
Yeah. Now we have to emphasise that nobody's had a test yet. So nothing's definite or not definite. So all it is, this is all, as Liam says, all precautions. Hampshire doing everything by the book as they should do, and listen, even I don't know 100% the rules, but as I say, until actually anybody is tested, then obviously nobody has COVID. But if there is a suspected situation, then of course anybody that's even come into slight contact and what have you, then of course they are isolated, and that's the situation we have here, because there's no Giles White, no A.D. Birrell of the coaching staff either. So we mentioned the players earlier, also part of the coaching staff here are also, as a precaution, staying away from the ground as well. So it's quite weird, isn't it, for months, Liam, and I heard you talk on one or two podcasts and that during lockdown and what have you, that we weren't even sure there was going to be any cricket at all. Then it all came back, and there were so many games so quickly, and we almost got used to the fact that I don't think we ever got used to the fact, and you probably didn't, of playing in front of nobody and us commentating when nobody's around and all very bare and all very quiet stadiums. But we kind of got used to these games coming one after the other, bang, 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 and you kind of got used to the fact that you just turn up and play. And now all of a sudden, it's rolling back the other way.
Yeah, it is. I think as a cricketer, you just sort of get into the rhythm, and that's the season's been like that. As you said, there's been a lot of cricket played, and you just turn up and you're going to play, and you probably don't think it's going to happen to your team from a COVID potentially point of view. So yeah, you're right. I mean, but as I said, what can you do about it? You've got to follow the rules. Hampshire are doing exactly what they need to do. The physio and the doctor have been brilliant, obviously sorting it all out because they'd have been under a lot of pressure this morning. But as I said, they followed everything they need to do, and that's all you can do.
Yeah, that's. So with a much changed side, I guess in a way this situation has forced Hampshire to make some changes, because I guess they haven't had a lot of options in this competition, but I know it's not the side that Hampshire would have wanted to put out, but maybe in a way it's quite fresh, isn't it? They've lost 5 on the trot, as I say. They haven't been very good in this competition, but some new faces, fresh faces, I don't know, maybe it's not a bad thing.
I completely agree. I don't know what they would have done regarding the team, but I think this is the right way to go. Even if those lads were fit, I'd love to have seen, people like Felix Organ given a game, Scriven given a game, Scott Curry. These boys are playing against Jason Roy, who's a World Cup winner, Liam Plunkett, who's a World Cup winner. So, there's so much benefit of these young lads playing against this Surrey team with the amount of experience they have, and it can only do them the world of good going into next summer.
That's for sure. Let's just talk quickly from a Surrey perspective. BBC Radio London's Mark Church is in between me and Liam, but of course all socially distant, of course. Don't worry about that, especially at the moment, the way things are. We're very aware of it. Mark, you've been listening, I know. Hampshire's problems on and off the pitch now, unfortunately, but from a Surrey point of view, it couldn't be going better.
Yeah, they've played really well the last 5 games. It sort of started in that game back in South London against Hampshire in that Duckworth-Lewis game, the strange 17 overs that became 11 overs, and won that game by 9 wickets. And well, you were there, Jamo, and at home they've worked out the way they want to play it. Pitch slap bang in the middle and the biggest boundaries that you can find. I think what's done them the power of good is then going away from there, winning at Chelmsford, winning at Middlesex, and then the way they chased down against Sussex a couple of nights ago was very impressive. And they've got a nice balance to the side. And well, you two know this better than anybody, especially in this form of the game. If you get on a roll and you all know exactly what your part is in that team, and that confidence builds and builds and builds, then you're almost doing it in autopilot, and that's what they've looked like in the last couple of games. It's like everybody know exactly where we are, we know where we're fielding, we know what our job is in the team, and they look a very confident side. And as you said, it passed me by the other night that they qualified for the quarterfinals. That went straight over my head. But I think I'm right in saying, looking at the table, if they were to win today, I think that would guarantee them a home quarter. because Kent would be the only team that could join them on 14 points, and they've got a better net run rate. So unless they lost heavily against Kent on Sunday, I think a win today guarantees them one at home. And again, then they can go back to. Well, I'm looking at this the ground now, and this is set up exactly how Surrey want it set up. Pitch slap bang in the middle, massive boundaries. They'll have the 3 spinners going again. And you know, for Hampshire, interested by what you said, yes, that's a massive blow, obviously losing those players due to this COVID, but as you say, you've got 2 games to go. Some youngsters get a chance, get out there, do your stuff, you know, enjoy it. It's a lovely day, sun shining, you're playing here. What an opportunity this is for those lads that have come into the Hampshire side today.
The 2 umpires, followed by the Surrey team, are walking out to the middle right now. We haven't got a lot to go on in recent past here, because the last 2 games here have been abandoned due to poor weather. But Liam, when you play against a Surrey side, what challenges, what maybe unique challenges that Surrey as a team throw up for you?
I think they're very aggressive, more so in their fielding. You know, they're very at you in the field. You always know you're in a contest, especially when you go to the Oval. And they're probably a team that probably slightly underachieved, in the recent years with the players that they've got. I mean, when they've got everybody fit, you've got Tom Curran, Sam Curran, overseas player in Imran Tahir last year. You know, they've got a very, very good team on paper, but probably a team that should do or get to finals there and win it more than what they usually do.
Yeah.
What's fascinated me is, with all the big names, the 3 standouts for me so far in this competition for Surrey have been Dan Moriarty with his left arm spin, Will Jacks, yeah, he's got his runs, but he's bowled at the top of the innings with his off spin, and Gus Atkinson, who's come in and done a really good job without sort of setting the world alight. Those 3 are the 3 that have done a brilliant job enabling your so-called superstars just to do what they do as well. So it's been nice to see sort of the younger lads that do their stuff this year in the competition for Surrey, because we know what Jason Roy can do, we know what Ben Folkes does, we know what they all do, but it's been lovely to see Dan Moriarty, Gus Atkinson and Will Jacks do their stuff this year.
Yeah. Thanks for Liam. Just for the moment, Liam Dawson will be back in a couple of overs time or so. It'll be myself, Kevin James and Mark Church to take you through the initial couple of overs, and then Liam will be back on. I will disappear for a little while, and then Liam's got to go and disappear and do more of his rehab as regards his ruptured Achilles. So Hampshire are batting first. It's going to be George Munsey, the Scottish international left-hander, and he's going to be facing another international left-armer in Reece Topley, and Reece Topley bowls Munsey. First delivery, off stump out of the ground, middle stump knocked back, and Topley celebrates on a ground, of course, where he graced, well, a few times anyway, here and there, between 2016 and 2018. And first delivery of the morning, of the afternoon, as if Hampshire haven't got enough problems on their plate. They are already a wicket down. Munsey goes.
It's not a bad ball to get first up, is it, really? From the left arm seam, has swung back. It's absolutely demolished the stumps. It's the perfect first delivery from Reece Topley. It really is. Talk about being on the money. And I feel a bit there for Munsey. He's just got an absolute beauty first up, and it's the perfect start for Surrey. It really is. And Reece Topley as well, he's bowled well in the competition without again setting the world alight, but he's another one, you know what he's going to bring to the party. And there straight away Yorker, and Surrey have the perfect start this afternoon.
We do, yes. Don't forget, of course, this game is being live streamed on the Hampshire Cricket website. It's also going to the Surrey Cricket website as well. You can also download the Hampshire Cricket app, which is free, so you can also watch the game on that and listen to our commentary as well. And of course, we're going out via the BBC Sport website, bbc.co.uk/cricket. Here's Topley again from the hotel end, and he's bowling to Felix Organ, who's playing just his second T20 game. That's pushed out in the covers, no run. His first T20 game was in that 11-over thrash at the Oval.
Yes, it was, and that was a strange old evening. It really was. But as I say, that game was what kick-started this run of 5 for Surrey. I think that getting a win gave them so much confidence.
Here's Topley again then. Bowls to the right-hander Organ. Organ drives through extra cover. Beautiful shot. That's 4 runs.
That is a lovely shot from Felix Organ. What a nice way to get started. Slightly overpitched, from Reece Topley and driven handsomely away by Felix Organ. That settles everybody down. That was beautifully struck through the offside.
Bit of width there from Topley. The ball didn't swing, so it allowed Organ just to free those hands. And as Mark Church says, it was on the up as well. Came right out of the middle of the bat. Big boundaries again. There was big boundaries that night at the Oval for the 11-over game, and it didn't really suit Hampshire. Will it suit them here today as Topley bowls? Organ's on the back foot, pushes that out into the covers once more, and it's fielded by Jamie Smith. And there is no run. 4 for 1.
Yeah, again, interesting that the way the ground's set up, they're big boundaries again, which will suit Surrey. As I say, the way they've set the Kia Oval up is for pitch slap bang in the middle, and then the massive boundaries.
Here's Topley again then, bowls to Organ, who gets one on middle stump, and that's just played back to the bowler. No run there. Surrey in their light blues, sort of, what's that? What's light blue? It's
duck egg blue.
Duck egg blue, that's the one, that's what
blue.
You described, yeah.
Very
dark
fashionable
trousers.
in South London. Duck egg blue.
Well, I wouldn't expect Surrey to be wearing anything else but the most fashionable and up-to-date tops. Typical Surrey, as we always say. I'm going to be doing an update for BBC Radio Sonnet listeners shortly. They're used to me saying there's always wickets falling. It's pulled away by Organ, that's going through mid-wicket, and that could go all the way. Well, problems for Hampshire here, both on and off the pitch. They lost a wicket in the very first ball of the first over, which has just been completed. So Hampshire are 8 for 1. George Munsey has gone, but they've also got some problems as regards COVID. Several players are self-isolating. There's no Sam Northeast, there's no Mason Crane, and there is no Lewis McManus. So all sorts of problems for Hampshire. They haven't been playing very well in this competition either. Live commentary right now via the BBC Sport website and app. Well, Church will take you through the next over. I'll just do this over, Liam, and then Liam Dawson can come in.
Well, it's going to be Will Jacks. This is what Surrey have done in the last sort of 5 games. They've had Will Jacks bowling his off spin at the top of the innings. So it'll be Will Jacks to James Vince, the captain, who's keeping wicket as well today, is James Vince. And Jacks will start with a long on and a deep mid-wicket. Fine leg on the edge of the circle. There's the third man on the edge, backward point, there's the cover, the extra cover and the mid-off. Jacks then over the wicket to James Vince, and Vince pushes off the back foot. Jacks giving that one a bit of air, a little bit of turn there, I think.
It was.
Jacks, and pushed out to Rory Burns in there at extra cover, and there's no run. No Hashim Amla in this game for Surrey. He has a bit of an injury, nothing serious, as this one is going past Ben Folkes and running off down towards third man. Just watching umpire Rob Bailey. Don't think he got anything on that. No, let it go and bounce. Hit the gloves of Ben Folkes. So there's a bit of bounce, bit of turn here for Will Jacks, and a couple of byes, and Hampshire move on to 10 for 1. As Jacks is in once again, and down the pitch goes Vince, the leading edge, as he's looking to whip that one through the leg side. It's tumbling stopped by Jamie Smith in there at backward point, and there's no run. You lose Hashim Amla, you get Jason Roy. Not a bad swap, really, is it? No. He might be a little bit quicker in the field as well. As looking to drive here is Vince off a thickish edge. That squirts off down towards short third man, and they'll pick up a single. Gets James Vince off the mark. So just say hello to Sam Curran, who's just said he's watching and listening in Dubai. Sam's arrived for the IPL, so afternoon to young Sam. They've all headed off for a bit of IPL now, so they've all arrived safe and sound, which is good news. Probably just as well he's not playing against Hampshire with all the guys self-isolated. Well, absolutely. So it's Felix Organ on strike as in comes Jacks to him, and Organ, gone stumped. That's turned. Looking to come down the ground and go over the top, and that's turned. And the bails are whipped off by Ben Folkes. Oh, there's a little bit there for the spinner, because Felix Organ has danced down the track and looked to go over the top. That's gone past the outside edge, and
it's gone between bat and pad, I think.
Whip the bails off the Folkes. So turn for Will Jacks, and this is not the start that Hampshire would have wanted. 11 for 2 now in the second over, and Felix Organ stumped by Ben Folkes off the bowling of Will Jacks, and that's interesting. Jacks is definitely getting turn out there. And again, Will Jacks, another wicket. He's doing this a lot now for Surrey in terms of T20. And Muncie going first ball of the game, bowled by Reese Topley. Now Organ has gone stumped, and it brings Ian Holland out to the middle. Surrey's destroyer at Arundel, Ian Holland, and he's out there in the middle now with a bit of a rebuilding job to do here from a Hampshire point of view. Stuck in by Surrey. Surrey bring Jason Roy and Laurie Evans back into the team. No Hashim Amla, no Ricky Clark from the side that beat Sussex, and 11 for 2. But that is interesting, Kevin James. That did turn.
It did. Poor old Mason Crane.
Well, I was absolutely, and the man to our left as well.
Yes.
He'd have enjoyed this. As here comes Jacks, and this is turned straight back up the pitch by Holland, the right-hander. Jacks does the fielding off his own bowling, and there is no run. End of the over, 2 gone then. 11 for 2. Kevin James is going to have a well-earned break after his COVID updates away to our right-hand side. And Liam Dawson, interesting start this for Hampshire.
Yeah, it's another poor start, isn't it? I mean, 2 wickets in the first 2 overs, and it's the same story for Hampshire at the minute. I think there was a stat before the game that Hampshire had lost 16 in the last 22 T20 games that they've played. They've lost 16 wickets in the first 2 overs, which is a hell of a lot.
Yeah, that is. That does set you back a bit at the start of a T20, doesn't it? So it's going to be Gus Atkinson into the attack from the hotel end. The other thing that interested me there, definite turn and bounce for Will Jacks.
There's been a bit of spin throughout the competition here. Maybe there's been a bit of sun about, used pitches, but Mason Crane certainly got a lot of balls to spin when he's bowled here this year.
So James Vince will be on strike. Vince with 1 to his name. Holland yet to get off the mark as Atkinson right arm over the wicket he comes, and James Vince is solidly forward, pushing this one out towards Rory Burns in there at short extra cover, and there is no run.
Obviously played some very good cricket this year, being top of the group, and you're still missing, say Tom Curran, Sam Curran. So you've got 2 players there that to add to this team. Obviously not going to be around this year, but it just shows the depth of the squad that you've got.
Yeah, it's been interesting as Gus Atkinson is in again to Vince, and Vince turns leg side in there towards short mid wicket, and there's no run. That win against Hampshire was Surrey's first win in any competition. They'd lost every game in the Bob Willis Trophy up to that point, and it just, I think it was just a case of get a win in anything, get a win and then push on from. Then they beat Sussex in the Bob Willis Trophy, and now they've won 5 straight. But what's interested me is those 3 names I mentioned right at the start. Here's one of them. Gus Atkinson is into Vince, and Vince off a length tucks this into the leg side, past short fine leg. Jamie Smith charges round and gets the ball just inside the boundary rope, flicks it back as the throw comes in, and they may have gone upstairs for that one on the TV game, I think, but Vince picks up a couple. 2 more to the total, 13 for 2. Because as I say, you know this better than anybody, we all know what Jason does, and we all know what Ben Folkes does, and we all know what Sam Curran does, but it's been lovely to see 3 younger lads doing their stuff. As this is short, and this is pulled by Vince, hasn't really got all of this. Out towards Jamie Smith it goes. He's going to come back for 2. It's a long old boundary out there square on the leg side. 2 more to James Vince. And as you said, Surrey haven't been very good in T20 for a few years now.
I think it's a good point there about those 3 young players there stepping up. I think playing with experienced players like your Jason Roy's, your Rory Burns is out there as well. Amla's played as well. It gives them so much confidence stepping onto the field with those sort of players. And I remember when I was young, you used to go with Dimmy Mascarenas, Neil McKenzie. You used to want to impress those guys, and that was what really drove you to do well. So there's no surprise that those 3 young lads that you mentioned are doing well with the amount of experience that Surrey have in their team.
Atkinson's in again over the wicket. Vince goes outside the leg stump and goes up and over the top of Plunkett at mid-off. Just about got enough on it, did James Vince. Bullies that over the top of Liam Plunkett, and that'll run away for 4 runs. Didn't get all of it, James Vince, but got enough on it. Vince moves on to 9, Hampshire move on to 19 for 2.
I mean, James is due in there. I mean, he's had a pretty quiet 3 or 4 games for us this summer, so he's certainly due. And hopefully this is the game where he can come good and step up as captain.
Yeah, I was looking at his stats, 60 runs so far, strike rate of 95.
That's something you wouldn't associate with Vince. He'd open the baton with a strike rate of 90.
As in over the wicket comes Atkinson and follows Vince as he jumps outside that leg stump again and pulls this one out to Jamie Smith, who's another one of the younger generation for Surrey, who's been impressive in this tournament. 3 overs gone then, And Hampshire here on BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio London, and on the Hampshire live stream. Mark Church and Liam Dawson with you, and Hampshire are 20 for 2.
It's interesting that you said I didn't come to the Oval in that first T20 that you played, but you said that the boundaries are bigger, because I remember over the years the boundaries have always been quite tiny and always been, you know, batter friendly. So it's obviously a change of plan from Surrey, and it's something that seems to be working.
Yeah, I think they've obviously got Jason Roy back, but Finch and Roy, I know they could go anywhere in the world and smack it out the ground, but with the smaller boundaries as well for those two, as here comes Jacks in over the wicket to Vince, starting the 4th over with his off spin, and this one's pushed away out into the offside by James Vince. But I think Surrey played to their strengths, which was they didn't have many big hitters in the team, so stick the boundaries out, play your spinners. As here goes Vince, lovely shot, lovely use of the feet from James Vince. That was 4 from the minute he started moving down the pitch. You knew where that was going. It's a lovely swing of the bat from James Vince. He's on to 14. Hampshire move on to 24 for 2.
I think as a spinner you don't really want to be doing that to James Vince. You know, off stump is probably width to him, especially the length and the pace that Jack's bowled that. A little bit full, probably a little bit too slow. Yeah, so not a great delivery, but James Vince punished that.
Looking forward to you watching Dan Moriarty. In comes Jacks, that's short, that's pulled by Vince out towards deep mid-wicket. There's Jamie Overton out there at deep mid-wicket, and he'll pick up a single. Vince moves on to 15, 25 for 2.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing bowl. I haven't actually seen much of him this summer, so to see him live for the first time would be good to see.
He's impressed a few as Holland waits with bat raised as Jacks is in, gives this lots of air. That's turned by Holland into the leg side. No run there as Laurie Evans, who's back into this Surrey side. Of course, wasn't allowed to play against Sussex. Part of the loan move was that he wasn't allowed to play against Sussex in any form of the game this summer. But back into the side at number 3 as Jacks now switches to round the wicket to Holland. Holland's working this leg side, will get a single, get himself off the mark as Laurie Evans tumbles away to his right to do the fielding. And one more to the total. Hampshire 26 for 2.
Saying before that Will Jack's got a bit of Marcus North about him with his bowling. He's bowling a lot more this year, isn't he? I mean, he must be doing a great job for his captain.
He's in again, and Vince works this one down the ground. Will just take the single as Gus Atkinson comes up to do the fielding. That'll be one more to the total. 4 overs gone then, and Hampshire stuck in by Surrey 27 for 2.
It's one of those grounds where, as an opposition spinner, you'd always look forward to coming to, because you know you're going to get big boundaries. You know the wicket's usually good, but it offers something. Maybe not much spin, but sometimes it sits in a bit more so as the game goes on. So it's certainly a ground as a spinner, you know, coming to here as an opposition player that you'd lick your lips and want to bowl at.
Liam Dawson alongside us this afternoon. 27 for 2. And Reece Topley back into the attack to bowl the 5th over. So Topley from that hotel end comes in over the wicket to James Vince, and Vince turns him into the leg side, rolls in there towards short mid-wicket, and there is no run.
Interesting. Well, Jade Dernbach? Is he
injured?
He's injured, is he? Okay.
Yeah, so he won't. He's absolutely gutted. Captain, and hasn't been able to play a game, so you won't see Jade this summer, sadly. As Topley runs towards us, comes in left arm over the wicket. Vince is pulling out towards deep backward square. One bounce, just a single out there towards Laurie Evans, but no, absolutely gutted, Jade. I suppose now as well, for him, this is his team, really. Gareth Batty at pains to point that out, because he was captaining until he did his hamstring.
So Bat's got another year in him. What's he done?
Yeah.
He has.
Yeah.
Same as Steve-O then.
Absolutely.
Played till he's 45.
He's got another 10 years in him, really. As Topley comes in, left arm over the wicket to Holland, who's looking to run this one down to 3rd man, and that goes past his outside edge, and that's taken by Ben Folkes.
I think that just shows where, you know, a little bit where Hampshire are. I mean, it's not a great delivery. It's a lot of width there, and Holland's look to try to run it down to 3rd man, where if that was a team within form or a man in form, you know, you'd hit that through, you know, point or cover. It wasn't a great delivery.
Waits again does Holland. 28 for 2 Hampshire in the 5th. There's Topley's into him, and he turns this one away nicely, neatly, out towards Laurie Evans. One bounce over the top of the stumps. One more to the total. 29 for 2. Oh, Batty's got another 10 years. He's the most enthusiastic man, still picking up wickets in the short form of the game.
It's the thing, I think age is such a myth. You know, if you're still performing, it's such an English mentality that if you get to a certain age, people start writing you off. But, you get to a certain age, you have experience. And if you're still performing, you carry on playing. It's a professional sport. And if you're doing your job, you carry on, in my opinion.
Topley's in. Left arm over the wicket to Vince, who's looked to whip him leg side. I think that's hit the pad. Rolls away behind him. Tumbling stop by Ben Folkes. Away to his right-hand side. It's looking frisky here to me, is James Vince. Yeah,
I think he's probably at a point now in the competition where, he's going to go ultra aggressive, ultra positive. Nothing's worked, for the top order. So I think from what you can see, he's trying to put the bowler under pressure every single ball.
Yeah, he is indeed. As Topley's in over the wicket to him. Here he goes down the pitch, slams this. Great shot. Straight down the ground. This will run away for 4. It's got it to the right-hand side. Plunkett up there at mid-off. That's a very good bit of batting from James Vince. And Hampshire move on to 33 for 2 at the end of the 5th over.
It's actually, again, it's a ball you bowl as a bowler and you probably think, that's a good ball there. But sometimes you just put your hands up and you say it's a good shot from the batter. Vince is a quality player and he's hit that very, very hard straight down the ground.
So Liam Plunkett comes into the attack now. Plunkett played his first game against Sussex a couple of days ago. Amazingly, in this country, that was his first game in this country since the World Cup final.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was.
Never said that. Was he injured before this competition?
Yeah. So he's got himself back. I think he had a bit of a back thing. So he's got himself back fit again. So really good to see him back. And he bowled beautifully against Sussex. I think it was 1 for 22 against Sussex.
He was so good for England, wasn't he, in his career? Unbelievable the way he picked up wickets.
Yeah, 1 for 22 it was. He's in over the wicket. And he goes straight past the outside edge immediately of Holland, who again is just looking to angle the bat and run that one down to third man. And Sam Curran with a message to Mr. Dawson there from his hotel room in Dubai. And watching and listening in.
Should be in the gym.
He should
lying on your bed.
Looks very nice in Dubai. Good to see the weather's nice, Sam. It's lovely here, actually. Could have stayed here. As Plunkett, little skip at the top of his mark, then in over the wicket he comes, and Holland, looking to work leg side, leading edge, bounces one bounce down to Jason Roy at backward point. There's no run.
You made a good point about the momentum side of things. When you get your first win, and you said you got to win in the championship, it just shows that no matter what format of the game that you play, winning is a habit, and it's something that Hampshire, we haven't had that this year really. So it's been a poor season, if we're honest. We've obviously missed a lot of experienced players, but your younger players do have to step up at some point, and that hasn't happened this year.
Yeah, it's an interesting one as Plunkett comes in over the wicket, and this one's turned by Holland into the leg side. Bit of pressure building up here as Laurie Evans does the fielding. 3 balls, 3 dots, because of course Mr. James saw Hampshire turn Surrey over at Arundel on that last day. And Surrey at that point, their confidence was shot to pieces. It really was. But actually, I think the thinking from them was, if we can get a win in any way, shape or possibility, it proves to us all that we can still do this. And they've proved that since that point. As here comes Dawson, and this is pulled by Holland. It's a good shot, this. Pulled away, up over the mid-wicket, out towards deep mid-wicket. The chase is on by Jamie Overton, uses those long arms to flick the ball back. Throw comes in from Laurie Evans. 3 to Holland. Relieves a bit of that pressure that was building up in this over from Plunkett. 5 to Holland. And Hampshire are 36 for 2.
It's a good shot from Holland, but also it's good bowling from Plunkett as well. He's bowling to the big boundary. It's probably 75, 80 yards. So to get pulled for a boundary, it's going to be hard from a batting point of view. And if there's a bit of extra bounce on the wicket, he brings his deep square leg into play for a catch. So it's clever bowling from the experienced man.
Here he comes again. Runs away from Ustas Plunkett. This is short to Vince, and he's cut that for 4. Gorgeous shot from James Vince. It was short and it was wide, and James Vince has managed to get that past the left hand of Jamie Smith at backward point. Whistles away for 4.
I think Plunkett tried to go an off-cutter there. Just a little bit too much width. The right idea with the field change that he made. He obviously took his deep mid-wicket back to the boundary and has a deep square leg out already. So ideally he would have wanted that to be a little bit straighter to Vince, but Vince is a class player and he'll put that ball away.
25 of the 40 for James Vince as Plunkett's into, and Vince turns this one into the leg side. Sensibly played, boundary, and then just whips the ball out towards Jamie Overton at deep backward square, and they'll pick up a single. End of the over, so that's the end of the power play. for Hampshire, and they're 41 for 2. Those 2 wickets to go. Muncie bowled first ball of the game by Topley without scoring, and then Organ stumped by Folkes off jacks for 8. But at the moment, James Vince is looking pretty good. 26 from 20, and Holland keeping him company at the other end.
It certainly shows. You know, look at someone like Somerset and with Babar Azam. You know, people think that Babar doesn't score quickly, but you look at his strike rate, he scores extremely quickly, but does it with just good cricket shots. And he's a banker in this format of the game. He just seems to get the job done consistently, and it's what we're lacking. We're lacking a out-and-out run scorer at the top of the order in this format.
So it's going to be Dan Moriarty. Here we go. Dan Moriarty into the attack from the hotel end, bowling as always in his sunglasses. And he'll be coming in left arm, round the wicket to James Vince. And Vince, the first ball, just tucks it away into the leg side. He'll pick up a single. And Vince moves on to 27. Hampshire move on to 42 for 2.
You know, I've only seen him once there, but it looks quite effortless, doesn't it? I mean, walks up to the crease and there's no, it looks very effortless. Easy pace on the ball. Looks really nice.
There's no great histrionics to him. Just gets on with the job. He's in again, and Holland works this one into the leg side. He's got his 3 back on the leg side rope, sweeper on the cover rope.
You'd expect him to get quite a bit of bounce. You obviously see more of him than what I have, but from his height,
he quite quick as well.
Yeah, he definitely looks like that.
Yeah. As in round the wicket he comes to Vince. Vince, oh, gone, stumped by Dan Moriarty. Danced down the pitch, bit flatter, and Ben Folkes, as always, as quick as a flash with those bails. Good bit of bowling from Dan Moriarty. Saw Vince coming, just fizzed it in there again, and Vince goes for 27. Moriarty has his first, and Hampshire are 3 down.
Excellent bit of bowling. The 2 balls previous to that, little bit slower, but that one he's pushed through and seen Vince come down the pitch, and a great bit of work by Ben Folkes. But clever bowling from Moriarty there, reading what James Vince was going to do and executing it brilliantly.
Well, that's his 12th wicket of the competition so far, Dan Moriarty, in his first season. The other thing, of course, he was the leading wicket taker in the Bob Willis Trophy as well. Yeah, picked up, hang on, top of my head, 12 against Sussex in the last game in the game. 5 for on debut. I think we worked out he's the first bloke in Championship cricket in his first 2 games playing against the 2 counties to take 3 consecutive fivers. So he's done it in all forms of the game.
Yeah, it's a great effort. I mean, it's not always easy bowling, you know, just finger spin in England, as a lot of people know. But you know, for someone to come in and start as well as he has, that's only a positive with Surrey, especially with having Verdi as well in the 4-day team. So you know, next year you could potentially play on spinning pitches at the Oval, because they can go pretty flat and dead from my experience of playing on them. Beautiful to bat on, but
absolutely,
it's a grind to get results there for sure.
It is. So Tom Scriven is out there now, 43 for 3, as Moriarty is into Scriven, and Scriven's off the mark straight away. Just pushes this one down to the right of Reece Topley, who does the fielding, and Scriven moves on to 1. Holland comes on to strike on 6. So Muncie gone without scoring, Organ gone for 8, Vince gone for 27. 43 for 3. As Moriarty, left arm round the wicket he comes to Holland, who'll turn this one into the leg side, and they'll just take the single. Long way up to come for Jamie Smith from deep mid-wicket.
He looks like a hard bowler to sweep, because he seems to drive it into the wicket at a good pace. So the Hampshire batsmen are going to have to work that out pretty quickly and you know, try and use the pace as opposed to try and hard sweep.
He's feisty as well, as this one open face, running it down towards short third man. Scriven, very good first over from Dan Moriarty. 7 gone, the wicket of James Vince. The other thing I like about Dan Moriarty is he takes big wickets, and by that what I mean is the big players. He likes a big scalp, a bit like Sam. When Sam first started for Surrey, it was always the big names. It was always the internationals he liked to tick off. But no, he's been really impressive so far this summer.
I think that's a good trait to have, though, isn't it? You don't, you know, if you enjoy bowling to those players, that you know, the bigger players, the international players, and if you get those players out, you bowl well to them. It gives you so much confidence as an individual.
Kevin James against India.
Yeah, you can tell everyone about that in a minute.
Yeah. He hasn't mentioned it yet. So Jamie Overton down below us. Still time. Ready to come in to the attack for the first time today. And he's on a length straight away, and this is driven by Holland back up the pitch. It hits Overton on the boot. Ricochets away. Didn't bowl against Sussex, Jamie Overton?
I think, you know, Jamie Overton's an interesting one. I think you face him in red ball cricket and you find him a real threat, you know, because he seems to have improved and he can swing the ball at pace. But sometimes in one-day cricket you feel that you can get after him because of his pace, bit erratic sometimes. So I think his economy rate in this competition hasn't been great.
Yeah, I've got.
So he's a bowler that Hampshire should certainly look to target.
Here he comes, in over the wicket to Scriven. Scriven pushes this one down in front of him, and there's no run. His batting has been a revelation, though. Absolute revelation in this competition.
I think it's always good if you have you know, an all-rounder that can whack it at the end of the innings.
He'll be delighted you've used the word all-rounder, because in the interview I did with him the other night, he said Somerset never looked at him as being an all-rounder.
I think every time you play against him, you feel that he can, you know, he could easily bat number 8 and do a very, very good job.
He said that's one of his main reasons for making the move to Surrey, is he wants to be treated like an all-rounder. In over the wicket he comes to Scriven, and Scriven gets a short ball, just opens the face, drops it away down towards backward point. They'll take the single as Laurie Evans comes up to do the fielding.
He actually got 100, didn't he, for Somerset? Was it maybe against Warwickshire, maybe?
Yeah, the
no,
start of the Bob Willis. But the 40-odd he made the other night against Sussex was brilliant. Just walked out there and smashed it to all parts and walked off.
He's a strong boy.
Cool.
Big, tall lad.
We hit 1-4 where his bat broke in half and he was just left with the handle, and it still went miles. As here he comes once again then. In over the wicket to Holland, short ball, and Holland's looking to pull this, and it's one of those clever slower ball bouncers.
I always felt with Jamie as well that Somerset used him not in the right way that you should use him. I've always felt that he's actually a lot more skillful than what they did use him as. They just used to use him as a bowler that would come in and try and knock your head off, bowl a lot of short balls, especially in 4-day cricket, but he's actually got a lot more skill than that. In 4-day cricket he bowls good pace and can swing the ball both ways, so I'm not convinced they used him right down there.
He's in again, over the wicket, this one's cut away by Holland, out towards Jamie Smith, who's sweeping on that cover boundary. Has to come round to his left, so that enables them to get back for 2 more. That'll take Holland on to 10 and move Hampshire on to 49 for 3. The interesting thing, that last game against Sussex, Rory Burns came back to captain. You could almost see him just stood there at first slip watching Overton, thinking, yeah, that'll be good for next year. Then Moriarty came on and you could see him just sitting there. Oh, Moriarty and Birdie, this is lovely.
Did you play on hybrid pitches?
There is a hybrid pitch at Surrey. I don't think they played a game. They haven't this year played a game on there. The only hybrid they've come across was the one at Lord's for the 2020 game, I think. As here comes Overton again. This is down the leg side. This will be wide signalled. Holland looking to flick that one down towards fine leg. There are a few hotel rooms being used. I just wonder if some Surrey supporters have definitely come down, because I can see 2 Surrey flags there. So there's some Surrey supporters, I think, that have come down and got themselves a hotel room and have sat on their balconies in the sun watching a bit of cricket.
A few beers,
nice
bit of room service,
especially at this
time. What a day!
Especially at this time, as Overton down below us once again comes charging in past umpire Rob Bailey. That wide was the 50, as that one nips back, bounces a touch. Scriven looking to run it down to third man. Mr. Dawson's off for a bit, but he'll be back later. And Kevin James will come back onto commentary after 8 overs. Hampshire, Kevin James, 50 for 3.
Yeah, another tough start for the county. And when this game isn't going for you, it ain't going for you. It's a tough, isn't it, to stem that tide. And now, of course, Hampshire suffering not just on the pitch with poor form, now finding players having to self-isolate. They are without Sam Northeast, just to repeat, Mason Crane and also Lewis McManus, who are awaiting results from COVID tests.
Yes.
Here's Moriarty then, the impressive Moriarty, and that's pushed out on the offside by Scriven at the start of a new over. Scriven playing just his second T20 match, the first one here against Gloucestershire 2 years ago. So he's been drafted into the side, one would imagine, because of all these players self-isolating. Scriven's on the back foot, turns that to backward point, and there is no run, fielded by Rory Burns.
Worked out quite well, that. Not great from a Hampshire point of view, but me giving it the big one to Dawson about Moriarty, and then he stuffed James Vince.
He did, yes. It's interesting, Dawson made a great comment, didn't he? The way he sort of slams it into the pitch. Oh, big shout for an LBW, and he's gone. Scriven goes for 2. Just tried to play that on the onside. Obviously played it from a little too straight. If you're watching the live stream, the replay's coming up right now. just watching Moriarty bowl, and Scriven just came across that a little bit, didn't he? Just fell over the shot a fraction, was trying to play it square on the leg side. He goes for 2, and Hampshire's batting woes continue.
Yeah, you had a feeling the finger was going to go up. Just looked out from here. We're a long way away, but it was just the shape of the shot, really. So it's 2 now for Moriarty, 2 for 4. And Dan Moriarty enjoying himself again in the sun here at the Ageas Bowl.
Oh dear. So that's we're in the 9th over here, as Surrey won the toss, elected to field first. Looks a good decision, putting Hampshire under pressure immediately.
Well, they always talk about setting the tempo, don't they? That's what they always talk about. And that first delivery from Reece Topley to Muncy, I'm not sure there was a lot Muncy could have done with that, to be honest with you. It was a terrific Yorker.
It was.
And it just that did the old set the tempo, didn't it?
You can always tell when a batsman sort of leaves the bat there, when they've played a decent, straight defensive shot, and they hold the bat there saying, I've played that with a full face, but I'm still beaten.
Where have my stumps gone?
Yes. Now, James Fuller, who's been, well, a reasonably bright light with the bat in the last few games. Moriarty bowls to him, is on the back foot, turns that out deep into the covers. And that'll be a single, so Fuller's off the mark. A couple of half centuries from him in this competition this season, both unbeaten and both come off a pretty high scoring rate. So, well, one hopes that he might be able to stick around for a little while. Moriarty from that hotel end. He does. I was just saying about Liam Dawson, said he really not throws the ball into the pitch, but you know what I mean when I say that. There's a quick 2 out on the leg side. He has to hurry. Throw comes in. My word, Holland had to scamper through those last few yards. But he does, doesn't he? Fires it in.
Yeah, he does. And it's almost undercutting it.
Yes.
At times is Dan Moriarty. Yeah, Fuller, I was looking at his stats before we came on air. Leading run scorer in the comp for Hampshire, now 186, and he's striking at 139.
It's not bad, is it? In a side where they've struggled with the bat, has to be said. Holland's on the back foot and forces that up to deep mid-off. 54 for 4. And that will be the end of the 9th. So hopefully Hampshire have still got 11 overs remaining. You look at the board and you think, well, I hope they keep their some wickets intact anyway and bat out the full 20 overs. But yeah, Moriarty, I can see. I mean, I know you've talked about him. You talked about him at the Oval a few games back, and here he is again. And you have to say, you can start to see now why he's been so successful.
Yeah, and I just think he's a young man. He's got a perfect start. And there's just something about left arm spinners, isn't it? They're crafty, aren't they?
The best ones are.
Yeah, it's just, and he's a bit crafty, is Moriarty, I think. Now Will Jacks comes back into the attack. He's already bowled a couple. He's going to bowl his 3rd over. Coming in over the wicket here to Holland. The 10th over, reverse sweep from Holland. And did he get any bat on that? That may have just hit the pads of Ben Folkes and ricocheted away down towards short fine leg. If he has got bat on that, he's played an extraordinary shot, because he's played the reverse sweep and reverse swept it behind Ben Folkes to short fine leg, which is a clever trick, but he gets a single and Holland moves on to 14. Hampshire move on to 55 for 4. So James Fuller comes on to strike as Jacks is into him and Fuller's down the ground, slamming this one down towards Liam Plunkett. Down below us at long on, and Fuller will move on to 2. Of course, took the hat-trick against Surrey at Arundel.
Yes,
James Fuller bowled very well.
Yeah,
56 for 4. Hampshire now. Hampshire, of course, in the yellow shirts with the yellow pads. And as Mr. Kevin James was saying, the duck egg blue of Surrey as this is turned. Leg side by Holland off Jacks. He'll get a single down towards short fine leg. One more to the total, 57 for 4.
Yeah, I must admit, until you said duck egg blue, I didn't know. I would have said aquarium blue, I suppose.
I think that's the official term.
Is it?
As stumped? Yes? No? Ben Folkes may have now. Is that what have they gone up for here? That was a stumping chance, but I'm not sure Ben Folkes for once took it cleanly. It definitely turned again by Jacks, and he was down the pitch. Was Fuller. Be interested to see that again on the live stream. I think that may be a stumping chance.
Yeah, Fuller got his bat back in you.
Yeah, as Jacks is over the wicket again. This one's turned into the leg side by Fuller. He'll get a single. He's got a couple of stumpings there. I think what did him was the bounce. I think he had so far to come back down with the ball that enabled Fuller to get back in. Nice bit of bowling again from Jacks, though. 58 for 4.
I repeat, poor old Mason Crane not bowling on here.
Exactly. This one's cut away by Holland, out towards the sweeper on the cover boundary rope as the throw comes in. One bounce over the top of the stump, so the halfway point for Hampshire. And they find themselves 58 for 4, with Holland on 16 and Fuller on 3.
Yeah, so the men out so far. Muncie for no score, Organ for 8, 27 Vince and 2 to Tom Scriven. Don't forget, of course, you can watch the live pictures of this game via the Hampshire Cricket website or the app. Hampshire Cricket app is free to download, so you can have it on your phone wherever you want to go. And of course, we are the BBC Sport website. 59 for 4. Here's Moriarty from the Hotel Inn bowls, and that's worked out on the onside by Holland. Runs the first one quickly. It's going out towards deep mid on. Fuller's running to the danger end. He's okay.
It's good running. Really good running. That reminds me so much of what we've been seeing back in South London. Just a little dink down the ground. Jamie Smith coming sprinting up from long on, but it's a long way to come up. So you're always going to get 2. If you hammer the first one, you're probably more likely than not to get back for the second.
Just slightly left of centre here, aren't we, on the wickets as we look. And Holland off a thick outside edge gets that to backward point. That's fielded by Burns. Yeah, the out of the 2 boundaries, the slightly shorter one, and it's still long, is to our left, the west side of the ground as we look. We're at the pavilion end, not our usual hotel end. Now that's on the onside. I think they may look for 2 here, although this time deep mid wicket comes in quickly. Oh, and I think a direct throw, and Fuller was struggling. Who's that throwing that one?
That's Will Jacks.
My word, that was quick.
Yeah, they didn't really set off for the first one there.
Not convincing.
No, so that enabled Jacks to have a shy at the stumps. If that had hit, I think he was gone, Fuller.
I think you're right. I think they all thought it was going up to Smith at mid-on, didn't they? 63 for 4 here in the 11th. Here's Moriarty, who is in his 3rd over. Impressive figures. A 2 for 12, wrapped on the pad there, Holland, but he's taken a pace or 2 down the wicket. Again, it goes out to Burns at point.
It's been a while since there's been a boundary as well, from a Hampshire perspective.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Losing early wickets doesn't help, does it? Here's Moriarty again, this left arm round, and that's a cutaway past Burns' right hand. It's going out to deep in the covers, fielded by Jamie Overton. I think that Surrey shirt suits him.
Yeah, it does. Well, he's also one bloke you do not take on his arm. Jamie Overton. He has got such a powerful arm sweeping up on that cover boundary, right?
It's a big boundary out there, isn't it? That is 75 yards plus. As Fuller gets one that's on the leg stump, and he turns it away on the leg side, and they're coming back for 2. Oh, there's a misfield. Fortunately, because I thought that was risking the throw. Was it who was it there again?
Will Jacks.
Will Jacks. I just thought that was a bit of a worry, but I think in his eagerness to get the ball in quickly, Jacks just took his eye off the ball at the last minute. 66 for 4.
It's almost a bit like playing that game we used to play at school, chicken. You're sort of asking the fielder, do you want to? Do you really want to? Are you going to take it on? And Will Jacks came sprinting in on that occasion, but overran the ball a touch. So that enabled them to get back for 2. So 11 gone, 9 left, 66 for 4 Hampshire. Liam Plunkett back into the attack down below us at the pavilion end. Here on BBC Radio Seoul and BBC Radio London. And on the Hampshire live stream, of course. And, well, it looks an absolute picture today with this weather. Blue sky, sun beating down. Few people in the hotel rooms watching on their balconies in the big comfy chairs as Plunkett is in, and this one's turned up the ground towards mid-on, and they'll pick up a single. That'll be 1 more to Holland. He moves on to 22. Rory Burns will know his way round here very well after this summer, won't he?
He will. He'll be used to an empty stadium here, won't he?
It was interesting what he was saying about, for him, he found it difficult in the bubble in the fact that you never got away from the cricket. You'd finish at this end of the ground at a day's play and just walk to the other end as Plunkett's in, and Fuller slaps at this bottom edge, runs away down towards 3rd man, and they'll pick up a single. 1 more to the total.
But then, to be fair, most teams that stay here, and most teams do, don't they, experience that even in normal times, don't they? I mean, the only way you can get away from the cricket is to play some golf.
Yep.
Otherwise, you'll feel like you really are sort of enclosed.
Well, I suppose, probably in a way, Old Trafford was even more acute in that there wasn't even a golf course. You were just stuck in the concourse, basically. As Plunkett runs away from us to Holland on 22, and Holland's turning down towards Fine Leg, and they'll pick up a single as Moriarty comes up to do the fielding.
It'd be interesting, actually. I don't think the question has been asked amongst the many dozens and dozens of interviews that there's been over the summer, whether they preferred to be here in the bubble or at the Old Trafford in the bubble. Whether you get a straight answer or not, of course, would be a different matter. Or whether there is really any difference. It probably isn't.
I think probably having the golf course helps. If you could even just go for a wander.
I did hear in the early stages of the bubble. I'll come back to that.
Plunkett's into Fuller, and Fuller cuts in front of square through the offside out towards the sweeper, Gus Atkinson, and it's had a bobble and a misfield from Gus Atkinson, and it's a boundary. So our first boundary for quite some time. It was well struck. He got round there, Gus Atkinson, but it somehow got through him for 4.
Yeah, I'll be disappointed with that. I did hear, because I played a bit of golf on the course before, of course, well, you could still play golf, that wasn't a problem, before the bubble and the England team arrived and that sort of thing. And I did hear somebody on the golf course did say that actually when they looked in the book for tee times being booked up over the next few days, they all had the name Ben Stokes on them.
Brilliant. As here is Plunkett. Oh, short, slower delivery. Lovely bit of bowling that. Just stuck it in the pitch, and to say Fuller was through that early would be an understatement. He played that shot yesterday. He was that early on it. Couple of bounces and into the gloves of Ben Folkes. Very good delivery that from Liam Plunkett, and it's 73 for 4.
It's a well disguised slow ball, that, isn't it?
Very clever. Played about 4 different shots at that in the end. James Fuller still didn't get any bat on it. Charging in again is Plunkett, comes over the wicket to the right-handed Fuller, who's forward. Pushes this one down the ground. They'll get a single as Jamie Smith comes round from mid-on to do the retrieval work. End of the over, 12 gone, so 8 left. And Hampshire 74 for 4.
I got a tweet earlier, actually. Apologies for missing this one at Solent Sport. I did tweet just to say that several of the Hampshire players were self-isolating, waiting a COVID test. North East, McManus and Crane. Steve Grant said anybody of a betting persuasion should have been all over Surrey at 1-2, and that angle was before the team sheet was revealed with 3 key players absent. I mean, I'm not a betting man, so I don't know what odds of 1-2 mean, but I guess if one team is pretty much, I wouldn't say guaranteed. When you're ever guaranteed a win, you're not. But when you look at the form guide, Hampshire have lost 5 coming into this. Sorry, won 5 coming into this. It would sort of suggest that Surrey will win this, but 1-2, I suppose, in a 2-horse race. Apparently, it might be decent odds. I don't know. Maybe you know more about odds than I do.
I don't know anything. Genuinely, that doesn't mean anything to me.
3 overs, no maidens, 2 for 15 for Daniel Moriarty, the left-arm spinner. Here he is bowling his 4th and last as Fuller works that on the onside. Now that's going up to deep mid-on, and Smith is a few yards. Is that Smith again, or has they changed him? No, it's Smith.
That's Smith down there.
He's come in a couple of extra yards off the boundary at that hotel end, and there was never 2 there, that's for sure. 75 for 4. Holland's on 23, facing the next delivery. Moriarty bowls, and Holland works out on the onside, and it's gone out to Jacks this time, and again there'll only be a single.
I've just worked out, because they tweeted me, that is the great Surrey Ultra up there, who's got his hotel room, and he's got it with Caroline over there, and they've got their flags out. Probably the first cricket they've seen this summer. Yeah,
there's been a few out there in the last few games here. That's played back to the bowler. Slight leading edge there as Fuller was trying to work that on the onside. Sorry. Yeah, I think actually, if anything, there's probably a few more on the balcony than there has been. But of course, how lucky for a 2 o'clock check-in. If it's one of those where it's 4 o'clock, you missed most of the game. Now that's edged, and it's 1 bounce on the 45. And I don't think they did get a single. That's well fielded from Reece Topley.
He did well there, actually, because it spun off the turf as well.
Did very well.
Yeah, nice way to spend your afternoon, isn't it? In the sun, watching the cricket.
This side is in shade, it's the far side that's in the sun. 77 for 4, Moriarty bowls, and Holland works that a little bit harder this time, so Will Jacks finds the ball arriving at him a little bit quicker. And that'll be just a single as well. And the Hampshire total moves on to 78 for 4. Bit of a recovery here, having been 50 for 4. The last game here against Essex, they were 38 for 6.
Cool.
So batting woes for Hampshire in this competition. Let's push back to the bowler. That'll be the end of Moriarty's spell. 4 overs, 2 for 19.
Yeah, very good again from Dan Moriarty. That's 13 wickets in the competition now for Dan Moriarty. At an economy rate of around about 6. So he's gone very well in the competition this summer. As I say, he's impressed a few people who know far more about all of this than I do. And
on the contrary.
No, they do. Jamie Overton is continuing. I must say, I do like your new commentary box, Kevin James.
Yeah.
Very spacious.
Well, it should be, because it doubles up as a hospitality box. And
sofa there at the back. Very nice. A couple of sofas in here.
Carpet.
Lovely. Lots of space. Jamie Overton from the pavilion end coming in over the wicket. Oh, and this is slapped down the ground. He's got quite a bit of this, has Holland. That's a good shot from Ian Holland. Has it gone all the way? Just watching umpire Bailey. He's just waiting for a signal. Yep, 6.
Super shot.
He's played that very, very nicely. Didn't try and hit it too hard, actually. And straight down the ground and away for 6 runs. That's our first 6 of the game. Holland's on to 31. Hampshire move on to 84 for 4. Jamie Overton striding in again to Holland. Short ball. Holland works it leg side. Wants 2. Jacks is up again. Jacks with the throw. Holland safely homes. Good running from Holland and good running from Fuller. And a good little partnership developing here. Hampshire 86 for 4.
Yeah, 36 these two have put on. He's getting a bit of bounce there, Overton, isn't he, as well? And actually that's quite a good shot as well, because he's on the back foot and actually hitting that in front of square. And that's not easy when there's a bit of extra bounce.
He's got 2 back on that leg side rope. The fine leg third man sweeper on the cover rope. As Overton's in again to Holland. Short one. Holland's looking to hook this. It followed him. He jumped outside the leg stump. And followed by Jamie Overton. That's why no wide signalled from umpire Bailey. Just followed Holland as he took his holiday towards square leg. And 86 for 4. They're going to bring the fine leg up and drop the mid on back to long on. So off goes Jamie Smith down to long on. Turning again is Jamie Overton. Comes in over the wicket to Holland. Backs away to a slower ball and then has to really stretch to get to it and can only push it straight back up the pitch to Overton. Good bit of bowling from Overton once again. Nice change of pace from Jamie Overton.
Very nice. Just looking at some of the other South Group games taking place this afternoon. There's wickets falling everywhere, really. Essex Eagles 94 for 4 against Kent. Middlesex 92 for 5 against Sussex.
Well, Middlesex win that. They're still in with a shout of a quarter-final. Lose it, they're not. So it's a must-win, I suppose. As here comes Overton. Short ball pulled away by Ian Holland out towards deep mid-wicket. There's Will Jacks again to do the fielding. Holland moves on to 34. Hampshire move on to 87 for 4. As I understand it, all the quarter-finals will be on the 1st of October. And then, of course, finals day will be on the 3rd of October.
Yeah. Good job you haven't got to sell tickets.
Cool.
Good job you haven't got to flog tickets for it.
It's going to be interesting as Overton runs away from us, comes into Fuller, and Fuller just cramped for room, trying to work it leg side, hits his thigh guard, runs away down to backward point. Jason Roy doing the fielding in there, playing his first T20 game of the summer for Surrey. 14 overs gone, so 6 are left, and Hampshire are 88 for 4, 10 off the over.
Mind you, I was just wondering if I saw an article suggesting that there was going to be some fans attending. I think originally there was a plan, wasn't there?
Yes, there was all this talk of the 1st of October, wasn't there? And I think that's why they pushed it back, to try and see whether they could get fans in for the quarterfinals and finals day.
Yeah, there was originally plans in August for some crowds, but I don't know if there's been an update on that actually. Anyway, it won't concern Hampshire anyway. I'll let Surrey worry about that. 88 for 4, 6 overs remain, and it's going to be Liam Plunkett to switch ends from the hotel end. 2 overs, none for 16. He's bowling to James Fuller, and it's outside the off stump. Fuller works that away just behind square on the onside. And, that's fielded by Moriarty.
Well, on a serious point with that, Surrey have already shown that they can have. Well, you were there for the Hampshire T20.
2.5.
2.5. We're in for that. So
1,000.
Surrey know how to do it, but it's whether they're going to be allowed to, I suppose. But more on that will come over the next few days, I would have thought.
Yes, I have to say, it doesn't feel as though it's going in the right direction, does it really? Here's Plunkett again then, bowling to Holland. Holland drives hard up to mid-off. Oh, it's misfielded. Oh, and it's going to go all the way as well. Well, the run-out chance was on if it had been picked up cleanly.
Yeah,
but it wasn't.
Laurie Evans up there. I think, as you say, he was thinking about the run-out before the ball was in his hands. So that's a couple now. Gus Atkinson with that misfield that went over the boundary rope, and that one from Laurie Evans.
I have to say, it sort of went in his hands as well, and he took some of the pace off the shot. Actually, Ian Holland really did get hold of that. 38, Holland's moved on to. It's come off 35 balls. Here's his 36th bowl by Plunkett, and that's hit away on the onside. Has he got enough on it? I think he has. It has. It's gone 2 rows back. 6 runs off the bat of Ian Holland.
That's a great shot, isn't it? It really is. Length delivery, and he's just slung that over the leg side, and Will Jacks out there sort of stood like a bird was flying over his head. He just looked up, didn't he, and watched it go straight over his head and into the seats for 6. Good hand this from Holland, 44 now.
Yeah, 99 for 4. He seems to be improving all the time. He's out there in the middle as Plunkett comes in. It's short and it's cut away high in the air, but safe down towards third man. Topley comes round. They'll come back for 2, and Holland moves on to 46, and that's the Hampshire 100 up, and that has come up in the 15th.
Yeah, very good. 50 partnership as well between these two now. Very good partnership. Much needed by Hampshire. Very good partnership. He's enjoyed his games against Surrey this season, Ian Holland.
Yes, yeah, he's certainly batting better than he has done of late in this competition. But you could probably say that about most of the Hampshire batting. They've really struggled a little bit. Now, interestingly, when we played slightly to the right here against Kent, Hampshire couldn't defend a total of 180, but then Zach Crawley got stuck in there, which he killed the game. There's a wrap shot over the keeper, and Folks is running back towards the third man boundary, and Topley's coming round as well. He can't cut it off, and that's 4 runs for Ian Holland, and that is his 50, and that's come off 38 deliveries with 2 4s and 2 6s.
Great innings. Well played, Ian Holland. Really good innings this, in tough circumstances, with everything else that's been going on today for Hampshire, and he's come out there with Hampshire in trouble. He's playing a little gem here, he really is.
Certainly is. Thank you to Joel at Solent Sport, who's just tweeted me saying it's now Ian Holland's highest T20 score, surpassing the 36 not out that he got against Sussex at Hove earlier this season. He's still a relative newcomer to T20 cricket, although he has played all the games this year. As Plunkett bowls, he's gone full, and Holland works that out to deep mid-wicket. Jacks comes in off the boundary. Holland moves on to 51, 106 for 4, 15 gone, 16 gone. No, it's 15 gone, 5 to do.
I like the fact you've got your own stats man these days, Jamie.
Oh yeah,
there's
no point in working out myself.
It's quite right too. Yeah. It's about time you had your own Zaltzman.
Yes.
5 overs remaining then. 106 for 4. Ben Folks and his long hair is waiting for the helmet to come out, because Will Jacks is back into the attack from the pavilion end by the 16th over.
Yeah. Is he growing his hair, Ben Folks?
Yeah, it's gone. It's just gone now.
I think
that's the best description. It started in lockdown. He's just let it go now. I'm sure he'll have it cut one day. I could, well, as a man of mullet myself, but it's the flowing locks of Ben Folks. 106 for 4 as Jacks then. Oh, and the reverse something's out here from Holland. Not sure whether that's reverse sweep, pull. Didn't get anything on it, and it's into the gloves of Ben Folks.
He seemed to have a long time to play that shot. I'm quite surprised he missed it. It was the right length to do it as well.
Jacks is in. This time he's just down the pitch, turning into the leg side, and they're going to pick up a single as Jamie Overton does the fielding. Holland moves on to 52, 107 for 4 now. Hampshire, the Hampshire flag is fluttering in the breeze there away to our left hand side. Bit of a breeze across the ground today. Very nice day for cricket though. Nice temperature as Jacks is in. Quicker one. This one's turned into the leg side by Fuller. You move on to 16, 108 for. Have to say, at 6:30 this morning when I was getting my washing off the line, Kevin James, it was quite chilly.
Was it?
This morning? But then as soon as the sun started doing its stuff, it actually now is a very nice temperature. As Jacks is in over the wicket once again, and this is swung leg side by Holland. One bounce out towards deep mid-wicket. There's Jamie Overton to do the fielding, and Holland will pick up another single, 53.
It's definitely the most breezy day we've had. Of course, we haven't been at the Ageas until last week with Hampshire, so it's not like we've been here since the beginning of August. Not Hampshire, anyway, but it's definitely the breeziest day we've had.
Jacks is in and sweeping. Here is Fuller. That's hit the pad, I think. That's running away down towards the fine leg boundary rope. Moriarty does well, dives, gets it inside the rope, but they're going to get back for 3. And this will be 3 more to the total. 3 leg byes. The signal from Rob Bailey down there below us. So 112 for 4. Holland will come back onto strike on 53. So doing a good job here. Holland and Fuller. 62 they've added now. Jacks is in. Holland's down the ground. Has he got enough of this? He certainly has. That's 6 more. Great shot again from Holland. He's having an afternoon in the sun here, is Ian Holland, and you probably heard the noise of the ball slamming into something down below us, but his 3rd 6. And Holland moves on to 59, and Hampshire move on to 118 for 4.
Well, this is more like it from Hampshire. I haven't seen this too often in this competition. It's very easy to look at the scoreboard and say, yeah, it's Ian Holland's highest total in this competition, and say it's the best he's batted, but I'm going to refrain from using that. But I think I've seen him strike it better. I don't. Well, let's put it this way: I don't think I've seen him strike it better than what I've seen today. There's been some clean hitting from him.
You said it though. He sort of found his timing the longer his innings has gone on, because he wasn't really timing anything at the start, was he?
Reece Topley back into the Surrey attack. 2 overs, no maidens, 1 for 14. Back on the ground that he played for 3 seasons here for Hampshire, although most of the time, of course, he wasn't actually on the ground, if you know what I mean. 118 for 4, sort of nursing his way back to fitness, wasn't he? He's round the wicket there to Fuller, who works that into the gaps. Quite big gaps on the offside, actually. Extra cover, that's Burns fielding there. On the 45, there's Jason Roy. And then the other 3 fielders on the offside are all on the boundary at deep mid-off, deep cover and deep backward point.
Yeah, all well in this comp for Surrey so far, Topley.
That was 19 for 4, and Holland's going to play the ramp shot, or attempted ramp shot over the keeper. He got it before, but not on this occasion.
That was a slower ball. And again, Ian Holland there's played it about 4 times before he got to it, and then missed it. So that would look very strange on a replay on the live stream, that shot from Holland.
7 wickets for Topley in this competition. Economy rate of just under 8.
He's a good guy to have at the back end,
yes,
though. He knows exactly what he's up to.
Yeah, the odd game he played here, he did well. Now there's another hit over the onside, and he's got it over square leg, but not over Will Jacks, and they'll come back for 2. Jacks moving to his right at deep mid wicket.
Made a horrible noise off his bat, didn't it? I think that came straight off the toe end there from Holland. And gets a couple. Actually, probably a good thing he didn't get more of it, really. Although he has slung one off Plunkett, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Straight into the seats.
Yeah, we haven't yet seen anybody actually go to the top of the seated area and have to sort of run over the concreted Boehm area to go and get a ball. We haven't actually seen one as big as that yet. Still a game here and another game on Sunday. That's outside the off stump. Player missing outside the off stump there, Holland.
Well, did you see that shot that Sam Billings played in the last ODI at Old Trafford, which ended up in the net? It bounced into the car park, hit the concrete, and just bounced off Mitchell Stark, of all people. Wow.
Bounced off Mitchell Stark?
No, he was bowling.
Oh, sorry.
But it was, and it bounced into the car park, bounced, hit the concrete, and went in the net.
Topley outside the off stump, and that's hit away in the air, but safe to backward of point, and they'll turn for 2. Good throw. I think that's Plunkett down there, isn't it? Just to our right, and throw just slightly over Ben Folkes' head.
They've run well, these two, as well, haven't they? And they've done that old trick of bunt it into a gap and hammer the first and get back for the second. They've done it very well. 73
they've now put on, and they came together in the 9th over. Here we are coming towards the end of the 17th. Holland's back on strike. 63 off 47. Here's Topley round the wicket again. Bowls. It's full outside the off stump. It's well bowled. Holland tried to work that through the offside. Missed. And Topley has completed 3 overs now, 1 for 19. Hampshire 123 for 4 with 3 left.
Yeah, very good. This from Holland and Fuller. They're giving Hampshire a target to defend at the moment. It looked a bit of a way off when they found themselves 50 for 4. I'm just looking at now this partnership is now worth 73.
Yeah.
The best ever 5th wicket partnership for Hampshire against Surrey in T20 cricket, Kevin James. 76. Sean Udall and Dimitri Mascarenhas at the Oval in 2004. So could we see? Oh, that'll be on the wires, won't it? If they go past that. So Overton's having a long chat here with Rory Burns, and it'll be Overton to bowl the 18th over.
Great call up of a stat from you.
Thank you. They're all up here, Kevin James.
Well,
they're all locked away. As thank you, Marcus Hook. In over the wicket then comes Overton to Fuller, and Fuller turns this one down the ground. They want 2, they should get 2. Plunkett's got a long way to come in off that long on boundary rope again. So sensibly done by Fuller and Holland. Don't have to biff the ball everywhere. Sensibly played. On to 19. Hampshire 125 for 4. The partnership's worth 75. Could we have a new record? I'll hand to you here, Kevin Jones, because you're about to do an update.
Thank you very much. Yes, for BBC Radio Silent listeners on the south coast. That's turned away on the onside by Fuller, who looked quite disappointed actually. Oh, he's hit the stumps. That's why his back foot has slipped back, and it's just hit the base of the stumps, and he's out for 19. And Hampshire are 125 for 5.
What a way to go.
And what a way he looked disappointed, having hit just a single. So that partnership of 75, am I right in saying equals?
One too few. One too few.
He didn't want it enough. So that's out hit wicket, is that right?
Yes. He's trod on his stumps.
And does that get credited to the bowler? Yes, it does.
It does.
Jamie Overton. Right, here's the update for BBC Radio Silent listeners. That's coming up right now. You join us just as James Fuller departs. Quite disappointing, though he played well for his 19. He's been supporting Ian Holland, who's on 63. 125 for 5, Hampshire, with just under 3 overs to go. There's a bit of a recovery when there were 50 for 4 early on. But Hampshire also have several players self-isolating in this game, awaiting results of COVID tests. Live commentary right now via the BBC Sport website and app.
Yeah, that was, well, maybe there were 2 things. He was very disappointed, obviously, having just trod on his stumps, but also maybe he knew, maybe he had that partnership record in the back of his mind and was thinking, almost, but how unlucky is that? Yeah. Got so deep in the crease as he set off for the run, he just trod on his off stump.
It's interesting. I'll come back to that in a moment. You're doing this over, aren't you?
Yeah, here comes Overton to Curry, and the first ball short, and that hurries Curry up. And he's somehow pushed that into the leg side to pick up a single, and Curry is off the mark. It gets Holland back on strike, 126 for 5.
I don't know what footwear he wears, but a couple of times when he got a quick fire 50 here against Kent, he slipped going for a second run. And yet,
could have been that.
Usually when you've sort of just hit your stumps, don't you, with your back foot, again, that's usually a slip. It means your back foot hasn't actually sort of found a, I don't know, hasn't lodged into the surface as it's slipped across the top.
I just wonder, for the nature of the shot, whether he just literally pushed back and trod straight on his stumps. As Overton's in, Holland's pulling out towards deep mid-wicket. There's Will Jacks to do the fielding as the throw comes in. 1 more to the total. So if Overton gets that wicket, which he does, that's his first wicket for Surrey in T20 cricket. So there you go. There's a way to get your first wicket for Surrey in T20 cricket.
One to talk about, isn't it?
Exactly.
I got the batsman hit wicket.
Trod on his stumps. Curry settles down over his bat. Tall right-hander, Curry. As in comes Overton to him, and Curry turns this off his hip into the leg side. Will get a single, and it'll be 1 more to the total, and 1 more to Curry. He moves on to 2, but it's a shame that, because Fuller and Holland were doing a terrific job there for Hampshire.
75 in 9 overs.
They all count, though, as they say. They all count. Jamie Overton turning down below us. runs away in over the wicket to Holland, and Holland turns this one neatly and tidily again down towards Moriarty at fine leg, and they'll take the single. That's the end of the over. Eventful one, good one from Jamie Overton, because just the 6 runs off it at this stage, 18 gone, and Hampshire are 129 for 5.
So Scott Curry playing just his 4th T20 match, the 19-year-old, all of this summer. Another example, isn't it, of youngsters getting
good
opportunities that perhaps they wouldn't otherwise have in a normal season. I just want to quickly mention this tweet, if that's all right, Mr. Church. Tony Cox at Silent Sports says, good to hear you on the commentary team. He says, can you explain why Hampshire didn't have Abbott or Russo playing for us this summer, and yet Morkel and Hashim Amla we're both playing for county sides. I think that's what he means, Hashim Amla. I don't know. It looks like a spelling mistake. Morkel, I believe, was coming from Australia, wasn't he? For you guys, so that's slightly easier. I guess it was slightly easier. I don't know. I didn't try booking a flight to Australia. That's hit in the air, and that's caught on the 45 by Liam Plunkett, and that's the end of Ian Holland. Full delivery outside the off stump. Holland guided it behind the stumps, but it was straight to Plunkett, and Holland goes for 65. And Hampshire now 129 for 6.
Yeah, very well batted, Ian Holland. He was just trying to run that down to third man and just guided it straight to Plunkett. But that's been a very good inning. 65 from 51 deliveries with 2 4s and 3 6s. And he's giving Hampshire a fighting chance here with that innings. So very well played, Ian Holland. He did some damage against Surrey with the ball in the Bob Willis Trophy at Arundel. He's done a bit of damage today with the bat against Surrey in the T20, but it's done it at a time where his side really needed it, which is the key thing.
Now Calvin Harrison is the new batsman for Hampshire. 22-year-old, made his T20 debut for Hampshire earlier in this competition against Sussex here. 1 for 39. He's a leg spinner.
Lovely.
Doesn't actually have a squad number. Liam was telling me about him actually the other day, how he'd been training and practicing with Hampshire for quite a few months actually, since last winter, and played, I think his first class cricket he played at Oxford Uni, but he's with Hampshire.
Oh, it's good to see another leggy playing T20 cricket. It's good, isn't it?
Well, quite well actually against Sussex.
A couple of games. We had Will Beer the other night, and then the young leggy at Middlesex, and Nathan Souter as well. There's a few around now. Mason Cranicle.
Here's Topley bowls, and it's a full delivery, and Calvin Harrison goes first delivery. Leg stump, full delivery there from Topley coming over the wicket. Harrison trying to work that on the onside, and Hampshire now are 129 for 7, and Reece Topley, against one of his former counties, is now on a hat-trick.
He is, and it's a good first delivery to get, isn't it? Again, it was a bit like the delivery he did Muncie with the first ball of the game. He's got it right up in the block hole, and Harrison playing around it, and the finger going straight up. So yes, Reece Topley's on a hat-trick here, and again, exactly what we were talking about, Mr. James. This is why he's so good. Back end of an innings, and he's picked up 2 in 2 balls just to completely halt any of the M word, any momentum that Hampshire had. He's completely locked it down now.
Certainly has. Kevin James and I forgot your name for the moment. Mark Church. I was just looking at something.
No, don't worry. I've only been working with you 20 years, but don't worry about it.
I can't believe I'd have seen your moment then.
Fine.
Chris Wood is the new man on a hat-trick. Sorry, you know when you just have your mind suddenly goes blank. I'll tell you why, because BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra listeners are with us as well.
Yeah, just as you forgot my name. Excellent.
Yes, I was going to call you Sports Extra there for a minute. 129 for 7 then. Reece Topley, who's already got George Muncie out, very first delivery of the Hampshire innings, is on a hat-trick here, bowling to Chris Wood, and bowls it's full, and Wood keeps it out, plays it out on the offside, and that's the end of the over. I'll just quickly run through the situation here, because whilst Hampshire come into this game having lost 5, bottom of the South Group table, Surrey come into this game having won 5. Hampshire not only have got a few problems and the way they're playing this competition, but they also have several players out of this game who are self-isolating and awaiting COVID results as Topley bowls, and that's pulled away by Wood behind square on the leg side. There'll only be a single there as it's fielded by Jamie Smith, who throws the ball back into Ben Folkes. Hampshire 130 for 7. Sam Northeast not playing in this game. Lewis McManus, the wicket-keeper, not playing this game, nor is Mason Crane, and the leg spinner, who's been playing quite well in this tournament.
Yeah, and it hasn't been the most ideal preparation for Hampshire coming into this one, as you're saying, Mr. James, off the back of 5 straight defeats as well. But thanks to Ian Holland, they're putting something on the board here.
Topley's round the wicket. That's a nice drive. Oh, brilliant call to extra cover by Rory Burns. It was drilled at him about chest height, and Burns holds onto it. Curry goes for 2. And Hampshire are losing quick wickets here. They're now 130 for 8.
That's 3 in the over for Reece Topley. That's a heck of a catch from Rory Burns, because Curry absolutely nailed that. And he was like a goalkeeper there. Rory Burns to his left-hand side. Took him off his feet because Curry hit it so hard. But that's 3 in the over now for Reece Topley. So Topley's now got 4 for 20. And very impressive figures from Reece Topley. But Curry absolutely nailed that, and Rory Burns at short extra cover to his left-hand side hung on quite brilliantly to that catch. 130 for 8, and Topley started all of this with the first ball of the game, bowling Muncie with the perfect Yorker.
Yep.
Ian Holland, very fine innings of 65, and a partnership with James Fuller of 75. But there hasn't been a lot else from a Hampshire perspective, and Reece Topley here doing exactly what he is paid to do. He has shut this innings down completely now.
So last ball of the 19th, he's round the wicket, and Stevenson, the new batsman, just guides that to backward point. That's the end of the over. 1 over left. Hampshire 130 for 8. Reece Topley's figures of 4 for 20 are a new best bowling figures for him in T20.
Excellent. And yeah, he's bowled very, very well today, and set the tempo for Surrey with the first delivery of the game. It's not a bad 19th over, that. 1 run off it and 3 wickets. So, yeah, you're quite happy with that if you're Rory Burns, the captain. So it's going to be Jamie Overton to bowl the final over of this Hampshire innings at 130 for 8 on the most gorgeous day down here in Southampton. Blue sky, sun beating down. The nice thing is, a few sort of spectators have come and got themselves hotel rooms in the hotel, which is now open. So they're all sat on their balconies. So there is a little bit of atmosphere down there at the hotel end of the ground, as Wood will be on strike to Jamie Overton from the pavilion end. Final over then, and Wood swings at this bottom edge. This will run away down towards that fine leg boundary rope, and brilliant effort to get round to that. That's Dan Moriarty down there. That's a terrific bit of work from Dan Moriarty, and he gets a boot to say well done from Reece Topley. So Wood moves on to 4. 3 runs there for Hampshire. 133 for 8. We're in a very nice plush hospitality suite, which is acting as the Kevin James commentary box here at the Ageas Bowl. There is a sign on the door, but it's very spacious. There's a sofa and all sorts. As Overton is in over the wicket to Stevenson, who's looking to cut that. Beats the outside edge of the bat. That's into the gloves of Ben Folkes, moving away to his right-hand side. Ground staff there to our right, getting ready to come out and do their bits and pieces at half-time.
Nice maroon tops.
Yeah, very smart. Still in shorts, of course, in September with this heat wave that we've got at the moment. Let's hope that stays for a bit longer. As Overton charging in again. Over the wicket he comes to Stevenson. Stevenson slaps this off the back foot straight to Rory Burns at short extra cover. They'll get a single. Stevenson off the mark. That brings Wood back onto strike on 4. So Hampshire have something to defend, but you feel they're going to have to bowl out of their skins against a very strong looking Surrey batting lineup. Just on the Surrey side, no Hashim Amla with a slight injury. So guess who comes into the side? A lad called Jason Roy, as this one swung into the leg side by Wood, up towards mid-on. He'll be keen as well, Jason Roy. to make some runs. Been a bit short of them this summer. Single there for Wood. He's on to 5. 135 for 8. And Laurie Evans, who wasn't allowed to play against Sussex as part of his loan deal in the last game, comes back into the side, and Ricky Clark has dropped out. As turning once again is Jamie Overton. He comes charging in once more over the wicket to Stevenson, and Stevenson swings down the ground. He's got quite a lot of this as Stevenson, 1 bounce, 2 bounces, and back comes Jamie Smith below us, and they'll pick up a couple more, 2 more to the total. 137 for 8. Hampshire stuck in by Surrey. Reece Topley 4 for 20, including 3 wickets in the 19th over. And this is the last delivery of this Hampshire innings. What can they get off this last ball? Plunkett's been deposited to long on. Stevenson on strike. As in over the wicket goes Overton, and Stevenson swings this. 1 bounce out towards deep mid-wicket. They won't come back for the second because Jacks with the throw. 1 bounce over the top of the stumps. That's the Hampshire innings done and dusted, and Hampshire have posted 138 for 8. So it'll be 139 for Surrey to win.
It certainly will. Take a well-earned break, Mr. Church, because you've been on the whole 20 overs. We're staying on BBC Online. We're also staying with you on the stream as the players make their way off the playing area, with Chris Wood not out 5 and Ryan Stevenson not out 4. Mark Church takes a break. I'll bring in Liam Dawson, Hampshire's injured all-rounder, in a moment. Just want to go through a couple of tweets which I missed. Well spotted Kevin Field at Surrey Sport, who says, Overton to Stevenson, that's Devon to Devon. Of course. We should have known. He also says, he's also tweeted a little bit earlier, why didn't we say Devon to Devon? It would have been so easy. Disappointed with that, disappointed, this is Kevin Field again, disappointed that with no prospect of success in the T20, Hampshire haven't been more innovative over the last few games. Fuller could have opened, or in brackets, or even one of the tail enders could have gone in for a pinch hit, close brackets. Also, no spin used in power play. Maybe Harrison today. Actually, we might get Liam Dawson to come in and maybe give his thoughts on perhaps maybe Hampshire could have changed things around a little bit.
I don't agree with the Fuller opening the batting at all. I think obviously people will look at the scorecard and see that we've been losing early wickets, but you know, James Fuller's role is to come in like he did in a couple of games ago and finish games of cricket off, where he got, I think, 50 off 20 balls. So it's a tough role to fill. You know, and certainly that's not the way to go by opening the batting with James Fuller.
No, okay, that's pretty much put that to bed, I think. Joel at Surrey Sports says, can we add Reece Topley to the growing list of players that always seem to perform against Hampshire, like Luke Wright and Zach Crawley? Have already been added in recent weeks. Can I actually just say, until Zach Crawley's last 2 innings against Hampshire, where he actually has, smacked it around and got 2 quick-fire hundreds, he'd actually got 0 and 0 in his previous 2 innings, wasn't it? The championship game last year at Canterbury, and then the first innings in that low-scoring, well, it was a low-scoring game until the second innings at Canterbury in the 4-day game. So it's not totally true. It's just that it seems like Zach Crawley always gets runs for Hampshire, but that hasn't always been the case. 138 for 8. That would appear to be below par, Liam, wouldn't it?
You'd think so. You know, I think looks a pretty good wicket again, doesn't it? And you know, as a group, Hampshire didn't bat well at all again. Obviously, Holland was a standout with 61, but yeah, not a great performance again from the Hampshire batting lineup.
Again, you know, early wickets, wasn't it? Muncie out first delivery. Felix Organ coming in, only his second game when he was out for 8. The score was 11 for 2. You know, again, I mean, the power play, we talked about power play, something A.D. Birrell talked about the power play, the Hampshire head coach, who's actually not on the ground today. Hampshire again, 41 for 2 in the power play. It was only 2 wickets for us. I suppose it's been a bonus over what's happened over the last few games. But, you know, again, on a wicket like this, you'd be looking at what sort of 50 odd at least minimum?
Yeah, 45 plus at least, wouldn't you, to be competitive? You know, 50. I think the way the game's going, the power play is such a huge part in the game. But I think for us as a group, it sums us up where we are as a team. We're not good enough at the minute. We have a hell of a lot of hard work to do to be, you know, successful again, because, you know, we can't live off what we've done, you know, years ago, because that's gone now. We've got a hell of a lot of work to do for next summer to improve.
But at the end of the day, you know, there's no Abbott, no Russo, and players like that. And of course, because of the COVID situation, you've now got a few other players missing. I mean, I know Surrey can sort of almost get by losing 10 or 11 players. You know, every time you play against them, that seems to be regular, that there's 10 or 11 not available to Surrey for whatever reason. But I think for Hampshire, you know, we're talking, I mean, I'm just pulling the figure off the top of my head. Probably from a side that you would have expected to have been playing out there this afternoon, there's probably 6 or 7. That's a lot, you know, including yourself. That's a lot.
It's a lot of senior players, you're right. But at the end of the day, no matter if you have senior players or not, you've got to show a lot more fight than what we've shown. You know, and we haven't been beaten closely. We've been hammered in games. So it's not as if we're even competing. I think as a player, you can accept losing games of cricket, but it's how you lose those games of cricket. If you're not competing like we haven't competed in this competition, then that's where you've got to have a look at yourself personally and from a team point of view, because you know, it's certainly not good enough, and it is frustrating. Yeah,
that's for sure. Just to remind you of the situation after 20 overs, Hampshire scoring 138 for 8. Ian Holland top scoring with 65. James Vince chipped in with 27. James Fuller with 19. And for Surrey, Reece Topley, formerly of this parish, picked up 4 wickets for 20. Will Jacks bowled well at the top of the innings, 1 for 22 as well. Do you think this is... I mean, you're not out there, Liam, you're not out there in the middle, so you're a little bit detached, maybe not as much as we are, myself and Mark, but, you know, you know you're part of the squad, but you're out here at the moment. Do you think that the way Hampshire have played in this competition this season, and let's be honest, it hasn't been great in the previous couple of seasons or so anyway, that there's a danger now that the success seems so far away, the way you guys were playing seems so far in the distance that maybe you've forgotten how to put together a long, good run in this competition?
Agreed. And I also think when we were playing really good cricket, teams didn't enjoy coming here. They didn't really know how to play here with the big boundaries. But now teams that have worked out how to play here, they play better than us here. You know, they hit the ball into gaps cleverly, and it's something as a batting group we haven't done. We haven't adapted at all, myself included. But it's work going forward that we have to improve on, because you know, you play games of cricket to win and win trophies, and you know, this year and the last couple of years we've not even been close.
Yeah. There was a tweet earlier which I don't think I fully answered, and you might be able to help me out with this as well, Liam. Tony Cox said, can you explain why Hampshire didn't have Abbott and Russo playing this summer, and yet Morkel and Hashim Amla were playing for Surrey? I think we got as far as to say Morkel came from Australia, so he wasn't actually coming from South Africa, so I think flight situations were slightly easier. Amla did come from South Africa, so obviously he found a flight in some way, but I don't think it was that easy for Kyle Abbott, was it?
Oh, I honestly don't really know.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I think that's something for Giles White or Eddie Birrell to answer. I wouldn't have a clue.
Okay, well, I spoke to Carl over there in South Africa, and I have sort of spoken to the Hampshire staff, and I think there came a point where, because Carl hadn't been able to do any, playing much, because obviously they couldn't over there in lockdown, that sort of stuff. And I think, I mean, I can only guess in a way that 2 counties that didn't furlough their players were Surrey and Lancashire. So I think the fact that all the other counties that furloughed gives you some sort of idea on financial situations, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's why, Emler came over, and maybe by Kyle, I think it got to a point where maybe, it wasn't worth Hampshire bringing Kyle Abbott over. I don't think it was just about the money. I don't know that for sure, but I'm sort of trying to put 2 and 2 together and make 4 in a way. But I think also the fact that it got to a point in the season where, maybe Hampshire felt that let's give some of the youngsters a go, and it has worked, I guess, in certain ways. I mean, several of them are playing here. I know it's difficult for them coming into a side that's not doing great, but I think certainly in the Bob Willis Trophy, Liam, I mean, 1 or 2 of the young Hampshire brigade actually have shown something, haven't they? Yeah,
without doubt. I mean, Joe Weatherly opening the batting. It was a big year for Joe, and he came into the side and did a brilliant job. He faced a lot of balls and took a lot of pressure off the middle order, so all credit to him. Felix Organ with the ball, done an exceptional job, got a 5 for, filled in brilliantly for me at Radlett when obviously I went down with the injury. So yeah, I think from a 4-day point of view, there's definitely been enough positives there, which is exciting going forward, because I think as a club we've shown, last year finishing 3rd, that we do take the championship seriously now, and But yeah, there has been positives, but certainly not from a T20 point of view.
Yeah, I'm just going to go back to the point you made about not agreeing with James Fuller going up the order and that. Kevin Fields come back on the tweets here at Solent Sport. He's been listening to your answer. He says, Liam, you've won 1 game out of 8. Not Liam, not you personally, but he's talking about the team. If you keep doing the same things, then you'll get the same result. The way Fuller has batted, if he could bat through the Hampshire innings, might actually win a game. When things don't work, you change it. That's what management is all about.
It's like playing a centre back up front, isn't it? If you score a few goals as a centre back, it's a completely, it's a completely different role. He's got a going face and a brand new ball that swings. And he comes in later down the order when the ball doesn't swing. So it's a completely different role. It's a role that he's never done throughout his career. So yeah, in my opinion, it's not a good idea at all. Yep,
I think you make a good point there. A couple of other games going on this afternoon in the South Group. I can give you a few more details, actually. The Essex Eagles batted first against the Kent Spitfires. Essex finished on 167 for 9. Ryan Tenderscarter at it again once more. 52 for him. Delport and Wesley put on a few at the top of the innings. Delport with 28 and Wesley with 39. So decent total there. What did they? They put on 54 for the first wicket in the 5th over. So that's the situation at the break. I think that game's been played at Canterbury. I think I just saw that. And also Middlesex have completed their innings against Sussex. Middlesex 155 for 8 of their 20 overs. The top scorer there was wicketkeeper John Simpson, who made 46. 37 from Cracknell, not the rower. It's another one, isn't it? He got runs, I think, in the last game. I think I'm right in saying that's a new name to me. And Holman got 35 there as well. So a couple of teams that are sort of snapping at Surrey's heels near the top of the group. Surrey looking favourites for a home T20 quarter-final game, but of course there's these round of games, and then on Sunday, I think everybody's playing on Sunday. I think Mark Church is nodding his head. Thank you very much. He's got me out of another corner out of that one. Myself and Mark Church will be back with you tomorrow. Vipers against the South East Stars in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy. Now, where are Hampshire going to win this game, Liam?
Well, I think the only way they can win this game is with the new ball. I think Shine Afridi has got to come out. He's got to be aggressive. He's got to bowl quickly and make early inroads into that Surrey team. There's no Mason Crane, who's a massive loss. He's the wicket taker in the middle of the innings, but I think that the big wicket taker in this innings is Shine Afridi. So he's going to have to come to the fore and put a match-winning performance in.
You say take wickets, but that's something he actually hasn't done in this competition. He's taken 1 so far, Afridi.
Yeah, he has, and I'm sure he'll be very disappointed because he's an exceptional bowler. I think the other night, the way he bowled that last over, that only went for a few runs, shows how good he is. But certainly with a new ball, you'd have expected him to take a lot more with the control and the pace that he's got. But hopefully today's the day, because Hampshire are going to really need him.
How would you describe the wicket? Because there's a bit of turn there as well, but there's a bit of bounce, isn't there?
It looks another good wicket, to be fair, isn't it? I mean, there's been a little bit of turn, a little bit of hold, but I think it's a good pitch, and it's going to be hard for Hampshire to win this game without early wickets. Calvin
Harrison, leg spinner. Felix Organ, off spinner. Are you expecting them to, as long as things don't get out of hand, they'll bowl 8 between them, do you think?
You'd hope so. I think, as we've always spoke about, 2 spinners here has always been very, very effective. I think they will bowl their 8 if Hampshire do make early inroads into this Surrey team, but it could be tough if they get off to a good start. And they're 2 bowlers that are not big spinners of the ball, so it could be tough for them to take wickets if Hampshire don't take early wickets.
Stay with us, if that's all right for Liam. We'll give Mark Church a few overs off, if he's all right with that. He's just smiled, so without him nodding his head, I knew that was music to his ears, because there's a big beaming smile as soon as I heard, do you want a few overs off Mark Church? So Mark Church will be back with us in a few overs' time. The Hampshire boys are out there in the middle, and the 2 Surrey openers are out there as well. And reminder that Surrey here are chasing 139 for victory after Hampshire posted a total of 138 for 8, and we've just been talking about him. That man Shaheen Afridi, left arm over, will be bowling the first over for Hampshire, and it's going to be Jason Roy back in the Surrey shirt for the first time since the Bob Willis Trophy match at Arundel against Hampshire. He's going to be facing the first delivery, and Will Jacks is the non-striker. This
will be a great contest between Roy and Afridi. I think this is where I think you watch international players have played a lot of cricket, and they certainly up their game. When they either bat against someone or face them. I think this could be a great contest.
Looking forward to it. Because Jason Roy, I think we all know, is probably, stats would suggest he's a better white ball than red ball player. He'll certainly look to play a few shots if the ball's in the right areas, and in fact play a few even if it isn't, as he's on the back foot there and just pushes that up to mid-off, and immediately he's off the mark, and that run looked a fairly easy run up towards Ian Holland.
I think Jason will be the first to admit that he's probably lacked a few runs this summer, but he's one of those players that, no matter what form he's in, you'd pick him every single game in your team, because he's a match winner and he can play innings that not many people can play, so you have to stick with a player like this.
So Will Jacks, the other opening bat, will face the next delivery. Afridi's bowling from the hotel end. It's got a slip in. It's Felix Organ as Afridi bowls, and Jacks gets one. It's a length ball, pushes that out into the covers, and there is no run.
And you've seen so much of Hampshire over the years, Jamie. What do you think that Hampshire need to improve in this format?
Well, you're right about confidence and getting on a roll. That's the first and foremost, isn't it? But I think there needs to be somebody else up top, doesn't there? There needs to be somebody up top that what's been quite interesting over the last few years, because it hasn't quite gone right, hasn't it, over the last 3 years or so. Here's Afridi bowls, and that's whipped away by Will Jacks, and that's gone backward of square leg, and that's gone for 4 runs. Nice shot. I mean, what was it? There was Colin Munro one year. Obviously, there's been Riley Russo, and I think the feature of Hampshire's play since the glory days, if you want to put it that way, is that even with players that hit the ball hard and can hit the ball long up top, they've all seemed to hit the ball a little bit too much in the air. You know what I mean? If you hit every shot in the air, you're going to be out caught.
It's finding that balance, isn't it, of attacking, and it's just being aggressive and smart, I guess, and it's knowing when to sit in. I mean, you can always have an over or two in the power play. You still have 4 overs to score. Yeah,
Afridi bowls, and that's a nice drive through extra cover. Super shot, Will Jacks. My word, that's been drilled. That's a la Zach Crawley.
It's an unbelievable shot, isn't it? Probably a little bit full from Afridi, but the right thing to do, because he's going to be looking to swing this new white ball. But obviously no swing there, and an exceptional shot from Jacks. But I do agree with your point. We've probably been a little bit too gun-ho over the last few years. But you need to still be aggressive. But it's also being smart. You haven't got to go in the first or second over sometimes. It's all about getting yourself in.
Yeah.
And then, the next 4 overs, if you haven't lost a wicket, then you can really, really go, because you've earned the right to almost lose a wicket.
Yeah, I agree. And you haven't really had... Actually, I don't know. I really need to think about that for the moment. During this ball, there's Afridi bowls, and that's whipped away very quickly to mid-wicket, and there's no run. I think, actually, you've done it once or twice, actually, to be fair, quite well. But I think sometimes, if the first couple of overs don't go very well, even if it's a spinner, doesn't matter who it is, there's always been somebody in the past to go to, just for a quiet over or two from one end. Danny Briggs fulfilled that role pretty well, didn't he? I mean, you've done it. You've done it well a couple of times. Don't get me wrong, but I think generally, I mean, I'm thinking of, gosh, who was the Aussie here? Played a couple of T20s one year, and he wasn't. I didn't think he was actually particularly ideal T20 bowler. That's whipped away over mid-wicket. Runs here off the bat of Will Jacks, and the ball's just plugged a little bit in the outfield, and it's just been stopped from going over the rope on the left-hand side of the ground as we look. But the batsman will run through for 3. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think. The Aussie, he was injured for a little while. 2015.
Not Dan Christian, no?
No, not Dan Christian. I think of his name in a moment. But he played a couple of T20s here just before he went back to Australia, and he got hit a bit. But you guys always seem to have somebody just to come on and just quieten it down for 2 overs. You don't seem to have that at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I see what you're saying there, but I mean, I personally think that our bowling has been okay over the years. It's our batting that needs a huge improvement. So I think if we get runs on the board, our bowling attack is good enough to defend anything. I know we lost to Zach Crawley's unbelievable innings the other day, defending 180, but
happens.
I think our bowling attack is pretty well suited at the minute.
Yeah, no, I'd go with that. I just think because when you're losing matches, you tend to look at every area going, don't you? Yeah. And maybe sometimes over-analyse things when sometimes things don't need to be analysed. Felix Organ then with his off-spin is going to open the bowling from our commentary end, the Rob Brownsgrove Pavilion end, and that's worked to square leg by Will Jackson. There's no run.
I think Felix Orr is going to be a brilliant cricketer. You know, he gets good shape on the ball. He bowls at a nice pace, and he loves bowling as well, which helps hugely.
Interesting. Will Jacks opened the bowling for Surrey with his off-spin to some success, and here's Organ as that's worked on the onside by Jacks, and quickly off the boundary is Ryan Stevenson, 13 without loss.
Felix left to be, you know, on the money here to Roy, because he's certainly going to take him down. Wouldn't surprise me if you see a reverse sweep or a pick-up sweep over square leg, who's up in the ring. So
you say reverse sweep because all the players on the offside are on the 30-yard
circle? Yeah, and he's very strong at that shot. He hits it very cleanly.
There's Organ then, and bowls, and Roy just pushes that up to mid-off. There's no run there, fielded by Chris Wood. So the players that are out in this power play are at deep mid-on and deep mid-wicket. Be interesting to see if Roy avoids those two areas, as Roy just whips that away and tries to get it past Organ, but Organ gets down low to his right and fields.
You look at Jason, he seems to be giving himself a bit more time, obviously a little bit out of form, and he's trying to get back into some form by seeing a few balls. Yeah, he's 1 of 3 at the moment as he whips that away on the onside, all along the ground out to deep mid-wicket, and that's fielded by Ryan Stevenson. It's interesting, isn't it? He sort of has a little flick, doesn't he? He sort of waits and waits and then sort of punches the ball hard, doesn't he? He's one of the blokes you bowl to in the nets, and he's not one that you want to hit back at you. He hits the ball so hard. Does he? Minimal effort. Here's Organ to Jacks this time, and Jacks goes for the sweep, and that's over backward square leg, and it's over the head of James Fuller, and that's 4 runs. Yeah, I think, you know, that was going to happen, wasn't it? I mean, it's a percentage shot. Felix Organ bowling off spin, ball spinning into the bat and sort of into the wicket a little bit, and he swept it over square leg there, so it's good batting. So 2 gone, and Surrey have started reasonably well here actually. 18 without loss, just 2 to Jason Roy and 16 from Will Jacks, who's had a pretty good tournament with the bat as well as his bowling, averaging, well, we don't talk about averages, do we? But his strike rate is nearly 155. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you want, isn't it? I mean, anything over 135 I'd have said is pretty good opening the batting, but to be up above 155 just shows, you know, why Surrey are, you know, at the right end of the table, obviously getting off to good starts consistently. Now Chris Wood is coming into the attack for Hampshire at the hotel end. I'm just looking at Jason Roy's strike rate, 144 actually in that, so bit of a difference as Wood comes in, and that's driven out to point, and there's no run. Jason Roy just show, I think we spoke at the top in the innings that not having Mason Crane is going to be huge. I mean, it's to have a wrist spin in your team as good as Mason, you know, being able to spin the ball both ways, and you know, and he's experienced now. He's probably played 40 odd games, so he's going to be a big loss, and it's a tough job for Calvin Harrison to come in and do, to sort of try and fill his boots. Yeah, he'll certainly get an opportunity this afternoon, that's for sure, as Wood bowls. That's a good delivery to Jason Roy, who just pushes that to Harrison at mid-wicket, and there's no run. The sun's just disappeared for the moment here at the Ageas Bowl, but still plenty of blue sky around. I think Roy will be ticking now. You know, he's 2 off 6. Something, you can sense something that's going to happen. Strike rate of 33 at the moment in his innings. You don't often see that. Take a picture of that, because it's not often that low. Here's Wood bowls, and Roy just whips that away, square on the leg side. Bit of a chase here, and that could, oh, brilliant stop. Now, who's that down there? Because that is a super stop. Is that Organ? It is, isn't it? Yeah, he had a lot of ground to make. He may just have touched the rope, but the ball actually wasn't touching him at the time. So brilliant bit of fielding. Excellent bit of fielding from Felix. Certainly was. 20 without loss. Roy takes 2 for that. And, yeah, this innings as well, I'd like to see James Fuller bowl. You know, I don't think he's bowled in the competition, has he? You know, he is an all-rounder. Hasn't had much faith shown in him with the ball, as Chris Wood comes into Jason Roy, back of a length, punched out to Fuller at extra cover. Yeah, I'd like to see him, you know, have a bowl in these next 2 games, just to see what he can do in this format. He hasn't bowled at all, so I think if he can improve his bowling, you know, he can be such a handy cricketer from this. You know, just to bowl a couple of overs or 1 over here or there. He certainly hasn't bowled in the last few games. In fact, he hasn't bowled
since... I'll wait that in a moment. Chris Wood was just running in. He hasn't bowled since the third game, Essex at Chelmsford. Quite expensive because he's got an economy rate of nearly 12.
Yeah.
So that, I think that probably has something to do with it. But you're right. Roy just uses his feet and comes down and just whips that away to Organ at deep square leg. And
he'll be ideal for us next year if he can come in bat number 5, number 6, depending on the situation, and offer an option with a ball. That'll be massive for our team.
Yeah. Well, he's certainly been in good form with the bat. Hit 19 today, doesn't sound a lot, but a usual partnership of 75 with Ian Holland for the 5th wicket got Hampshire out of a bit of a hole. Here's Wood again and bowls, and that's whipped away hard to mid-wicket. That's a good stop by Kelvin Harrison. That ends the over. 3 overs gone here. Surrey chasing 139 for victory, are 21 without loss.
Not noticed James Vince, have we, with the gloves? Must be doing a good job.
That's what it's all about. It's like a referee in football. I haven't noticed him. James Vince, yes, just to repeat, there are a few COVID problems in the Hampshire camp at the moment. Several players self-isolating. So I must admit, we saw, didn't we, in the warm-up, well, maybe before you came up actually, Liam, I saw James Vince taking some balls when the bowlers were bowling on the side of the square and with the gloves. And we thought, that's a bit unusual, we don't normally see. And I just thought, oh, this is Hampshire's new ploy. You know, things aren't going very well in the T20, so they've rethought their tactics.
If it goes that bad, whip the gloves off, give it to someone else and have a bowl.
Who knows what'll happen by Sunday? We could be having, I don't know, anybody wicket keeping, depending on what goes on. A new over from Organ sees Roy just push that out on the onside where there's plenty of gaps, and it's an easy single, 22 without loss.
Lovely bit of bowling from Felix. I think seeing Jason come down the wicket and bowled it a bit slower and shorter, and said if he wants to try and take James Fuller on to that big boundary, good luck, but he decided just to clip it for 1.
Here's Organ again then, and bowls. That's cut away. Has he found the gap? I think he has. Jason Roy, there's a chase on here. It's going to be pulled up just inside the rope. And interesting relay piece of fielding. Was that Kelvin Harrison? Trying to knock that back to one of the fielders and went miles over his head.
Well, I've never understood that. It's such a frustrating thing. Coaches try and make you train it in. It's quicker just to pick the ball up yourself and throw it in as opposed to try and tag sometimes, and you get a mistake like that. I just don't see the point in it. Yeah,
this gives a runaway, isn't it, really? 24 without loss, and there's a hit from Jax, and he's gone. Or is that Jason Roy?
Roy.
Yeah, I think the scoreboard's got that wrong. That's Jason Roy batting, and he looks really disappointed there. And it's caught by Chris Wood, who's right on the 30-yard circle at mid-off. And Roy goes for 8. It's 24 for 1.
Yeah, I mean, good piece of bowling from Felix Organ there. Didn't give him, there's a fraction bit of room, but Jason, with the form that he's in, probably not happy with that shot. But it's a good wicket for Hampshire, and hopefully this can be the start of a bit of momentum in this innings for us.
So good catch from Chris Wood, and Felix Organ playing just his second game in this competition. Played against Surrey earlier, takes his first wicket in T20 cricket, and it's not a bad one. The wicket of Jason Roy for 6.
It's a good one to get, isn't it?
Oh, it's a goodie. Yeah, you can dine out on that one for a while.
He'll be telling me about that in the car tonight. He's been my taxi at the minute.
Has he?
So he lives near me, so he's my taxi driver, which is good.
Better get the earmuffs out. Laurie Evans, who's back in the Surrey side, having under the terms of his deal from Sussex, wasn't allowed to play against them the other day, so he's back in the Surrey side, and he walks out at number 3, and he's going to be facing Felix Organ, who stays round the wicket to the right hand, who drives, and he gets a thick outside edge. It's going down towards the third man boundary, and that, I think, is going all the way. So Evans, although a little bit streaky, is off the mark with a boundary, and Surrey move on to 29 for 1.
Yeah, unlucky in it from Felix. Earned the right to bowl that ball a little bit slower, a little bit wider. And that's exactly what he wanted him to do. But unlucky for him, it went for 4.
Yeah. I was talking about James Vince behind the stumps. I don't think he's had to take one to Organ yet, so it's always the most difficult part of wicket keeping is standing up to the spinners as Organ bowls, and off the back foot there's a nice dive there from Organ. Make sure that Laurie Evans stays at that end. 29 for 1 then. Jack's at the non-striker's end.
Surprised that Laurie didn't stay at Sussex. I don't know what happened contract-wise, but he's a brilliant batter, and I think they would have kept him.
I don't know. I hate to deal in rumours and gossip as that's driven up, but I will. As that's driven up to mid-on, where it's fielded by Scott Curry, just because, I don't know. Well, having done a couple of games there and sort of heard one or two little things, I think, and I think you have to agree with Jason Gillespie. They came something like 6th in Division 2 last year, and obviously that was a big disappointment, wasn't it? Around the, so when there's 3 teams going up, I think Sussex were expecting to be one of those 3, and it didn't work, and whatever. And I think, and I haven't heard this from the horse's mouth, but Jason Gillespie wanted to change things around a little bit this year, because can't come, well, it's not the same season, but things have to change if they want to do well. So I think like your Laurie Evanses, oh gosh, who's the other left-handed? Wells. 1 or 2 weren't playing in the first few games, and I don't think they were particularly happy that they weren't. They felt they should have been, and I think Laurie was one of those, as I understand it. If I'm wrong, please don't have a go at me too much. Afridi bowls, that's pushed out on the offside by Evans. No run, start of a new over, the 5th. I think that's what I was hearing.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, well, whether there was other little issues with Laurie Evans, I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know. But
you've always played against him. He's always done extremely well here against us. He's a brilliant player.
Better one player than 4-day?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Evans faces Afridi. Afridi works that, in fact, Evans works that through the onside for 4, through mid-wicket. Slightly over-pitched there from Afridi, but that's well-timed. It
is well-timed. It's a great shot. Again, not a great ball from Shine. He seems to have been a little bit reluctant, when the ball hasn't swung. He seems to have stayed over the wicket a lot. I'd like to have seen him come round the wicket a bit more throughout this competition, because he hasn't got the ball to swing as much as I thought he would.
No. I'm not sure this is a big swinging ground, though, is it? I don't know. Sometimes the ball doesn't seem to swing at times when you think it will. That's a length ball, which Evans just pushes up towards extra cover. 34 for 1 here, Surrey. Remember, 139 the target. They need another 105 from here.
I think he's a bowler who's, he'd probably be disappointed with only getting 1 wicket so far. But people forget that the lad's been away from home now for 3.5 months. The body's probably sore from the Test matches and the one-days and the T20s. So yeah, it's been tough for him.
Yeah, and all the practicing, I guess, in between, because there's nothing else to do. Evans' drive slightly uppish, but up towards mid-off, not completely timed. Holland fields 36 for 1. Yeah, well, there's nothing else to do but practice, is there? No,
there's not. I mean, people, obviously cricket is a great job, and we're very lucky to do what we do, but to spend the amount of time that he would have done in a hotel, this year would have been nearly 3.5 months, as I said. It does definitely take its toll. It's difficult mentally. It gets difficult. So I think people do forget that you obviously want him to get runs, you want him to get wickets, and field well. But sometimes it is tough touring as long as he has.
Afridi to Jackson. Drax drives, and he's found the gap between mid-off and extra cover. It was slightly aerial, but again, real venom in that shot. That's gone for 4.
Yeah, good shot again. Probably a little bit too full. Yeah, ideally, I'd like to see him come round the wicket and bowl a little bit shorter than what he's bowling now, with no swing. So I'm surprised James Vince hasn't suggested that to him.
Well, he's staying over the wicket at the hotel end, and Afridi's conceded 21 now with 1 ball left of his second over. Certainly no swing for him out there at the moment, and things looking quite tough for him as he comes in again and bowls to Jackson. Jackson tries to whip that away on the onside, gets wrapped on the pad, called through for a single by Laurie Evans. Or is that off the bat? I think it's off the bat, as well as maybe a little inside edge onto the pad there. End of the over, and Surrey are 39, I think that is. Or has that single been added? 40, yeah, the scoreboard's just showing. 40 for 1 then, 5 gone, and a good start from Surrey here, Lim.
A good start. I mean, is it 99 to win now? Only 1 wicket down, and they've had a solid power play. They knew that if they keep wickets in hand and bat the overs, they're going to win this game, at a canter.
So I've got to do an update at the top of the hour. I can stay on for another 10 minutes. Do you want another 10 minutes off, Mr. Church, or would you like to come back on? Well, if you're happy to wait for 10 minutes, do a little bit with Liam, and then Liam can have a break after that. How's that? Good. He's happy, Mark Church. 40 for 1 then, and it's going to be Chris Wood. I did. I forgot his name on air earlier. Wood bowls, and that's a drive. And he's opened the face of the bat there, Will Jackson. He's found the gap behind point, and that's going for 4.
Yeah, it's a good shot, isn't it? I mean, back of a length from Chris Wood, a fraction of width, but not much. It's a pretty good shot there.
Certainly was. George Munsey, who got the dive out. He was out first ball. Super ball there from Reece Topley. George Munsey, first ball of the game.
He'll be frustrated, won't he, with his campaign so far. Obviously wanting to impress, wants a contract for next year, and he's had a tough start, the lad.
Yeah, he's got one more chance on Sunday against Middlesex here, as that's worked away on the onside by Will Jacks, out to James Fuller at deep mid wicket, and Jacks moves on to 29. That's come off just 14 deliveries. Surrey 45 for 1, the 1 wicket that has fallen. Jason Roy in the 4th over. Chipping Felix Organ to Chris Wood at mid-off. Roy out for 8. Surrey then with 24 for 1. You're listening to BBC Radio Sunderland, BBC Sport Online via the cricket website, and also the live picture stream via the Hampshire cricket website. As that's just worked out to Munsey at backward point by Laurie Evans, and there is no run there.
So we're obviously talking about George, and there's nothing worse when you go into a new team. I've experienced it, and you don't perform in the first few games. You start to think, am I good enough? Do my teammates rate you? And that can affect you, but I think you've got to try and remember as a player that you're there for a reason. You've got a good record, and you've got to try and just stay as positive as you can. Wood
comes in again, and it's a drive. Half stop by Wood, who just deflects it actually. Wide of Scott Curry at mid-on, so they'll come through for a single. 46 for 1. The thing is, I mean, everybody can have a poor run, can't they, as you say, and it's difficult, but I suppose you can still prove a lot in the nets to your teammates. They can still see how good a player you actually could be or can be.
I think, yeah, you can, but I think, the only way you gain respect is by getting runs and winning games of cricket for your team. Nets, you can only do so much, but certainly winning games on the pitch is the main thing.
Yeah. Wood bowls short, and it's pulled away by Will Jacks, out to Fuller again at mid-wicket. But yeah, I suppose, yeah, you're right. Of course, it's all about, that's what you're selected for, that's what you paid for. But I suppose the next best thing, if you're not scoring runs of the game, is at least to show your teammates you can do something in practice situations. But
I think sometimes as well, I think you overtrain sometimes. When you're out of form, I've certainly been guilty of it. Not so much now, but you have no runs. You think, I need to hit more balls. But in fact, the best thing to do is not bother doing anything.
Wood bowls, and Evans works that into the gap on the onside. Runs the first one quickly. He may look for 2 here. They're going to get 2. Scott Curry wins the race from about 4 Hampshire fielders who have all converged on that ball. But in the end, it's Laurie Evans who's won that race. He picks up 2. 49 for 1 Surrey.
Yeah, it's good batting in. Clipped into the leg side, just short of the 30-yard circle, and they've came back for 2. Pretty easy.
So that's the power play over. Surrey 49 for 1. At the end of the Hampshire power play over, they were 41 for 2. So there's not a lot in it at this stage.
It's not, but we talked about the other day, didn't we, that setting a score, it's when you're chasing this now, that I think it's 6 and over. It's a cruise with 9 wickets in hand, a lot of experience, and Hampshire probably haven't really got any wicket takers left now to bowl. There's obviously no Mason Crane, so for Surrey to lose this, it's going to be a poor display.
So it's going to be Ian Holland. Yeah, Ian Holland from the hotel end, the Hampshire all-rounder, who batted well in the Hampshire innings. And he's going to be bowling to Will Jacks, with Surrey on 49 for 1. Holland with his right arm medium paces, and that's worked on the onside into the gap by Will Jacks for a single. That's the 50 up for Surrey.
I'd like to see a mid-wicket in here. I think it's worth, as I said, they need 6 and over. It's worth getting hit for a boundary to try and get a wicket at this stage in the game. So I'm not sure why was a big gap at mid-wicket. Hampshire need wickets to win this game of cricket.
65 off 51 balls, Ian Holland. Struck the ball well as well, with 3 sixes in that innings. Comes in and bowls, and that's a length ball which Evans works that on the onside, and they'll pick up a single with all the fielders in front of square on the boundary.
I think it's so hard to build. If your best ball's going for 1 at this stage of the game, it's very hard to take a wicket. So I think you need to try and build pressure by, bringing that fielder up or making a field change so that your best ball doesn't go for a single.
Yeah, It's Holland again then, bowling to Will Jacks. Jacks is pulling that away on the leg side. It's gone out to deep square leg. I think that's Scriven coming in there. 51 for 1 then. As
Hampshire do have, I think, 8 bowling options today. Tom Scriven into the team. Scott Curry as well. Be interesting to see how he goes. I think he's a very good cricketer. From
Scott Curry?
Yeah, very good cricketer. Face him in the nets. Yeah, he's going to be exciting.
Here's Holland. Sure, get his chance to bowl in a moment as that's pulled away hard again to Scriven at deep square leg. Just fumbles the ball a little bit, but they weren't looking for 2, the batsman. And the Surrey total moves up to 53 for 1 in the 7th over here, needing another 86. The South Group leaders. Holland's just pushing mid-off a little bit wider. Looks like James Fuller at the top end of the ground. So Holland comes in and bowls to Will Jacks once more, and Jacks again just works that up to mid-on. It's an easy single, as Liam Dawson says. Every time the ball goes out on the onside, unless it's gone very quickly to the man on the 45, there's always a single, and maybe 2 in certain circumstances.
Probably more so, you know, from this end to that big boundary. But there's, yeah, it's very hard for him at the minute for Ian Holland to build any pressure.
Single off every delivery so far, and here's his final ball of his first over. Bowls, and that's driven out on the offside. There is a gap between point and extra cover, and Evans has found it, and he'll keep the strike. And Surrey at the end of the 7th. 56 for 1. I'm just slightly ahead of the board, I think. No, the scoreboard's showing 55, so we'll go with 55. That's right, that's 6 off the over. So 55 for 1 then, Surrey. We'll have a quick look at what's going on in the other South Group matches, just to give Liam a couple of seconds with his voice. Sussex Sharks against Middlesex. Remember, Middlesex posted 155 for 8. Sussex are 63 without loss in the 6th. Phil Salt and Luke Wright getting off to another fast start there for Sussex. And Essex, who made 167 for 9 against Kent. Kent in reply 45 for 1 with 1 ball left of the power play. This looks like Kelvin Harrison, the leg spinner for Hampshire, playing just his 2nd T20 game, his 2nd first-team game for Hampshire into the attack. Interesting to see how he bowls. We saw a bit of spin here. Interesting to see if he can get it a little bit. Bowls, and it's just a drive by Evans up to mid-wicket.
Yeah, I thought he went fairly well the other night for a debut. Landed it pretty good as well, so there was a few nerves, I guess, but he did well, picked up a wicket. He
did, 1 for 39 off his 4. Down the wicket comes Evans, just works that again to mid-wicket. He wasn't quite to the pitch of that.
No, good bowling and excellent field from James Vince, keeping that mid-wicket in, you know, saying to Evans if he wants to reverse sweep, there's a big risk, but you're not going to get one of our best ball to mid-wicket.
Here comes Harrison again, and that's a bit fuller this time, so Evans is driving that up to deep mid-on, where Scott Curry does the fielding. 56 for 1.
I think Calvin the other night, he probably lacked a little bit of experience sort of getting out of his overs. He bowled 3 or 4 good balls in carry on bowling the same ball, which went for a boundary a few times. So going forward, you'd like to think that he's learnt from that, and you know, when he's only gone for a couple of runs and towards the end of the over, he bowled a bit shorter to get hit out to this leg side.
So it's Harrison bowling to Will Jacks, and Jacks just turns that into the gap, exactly where Scriven had just come from, actually. I think that was Scriven come from mid-wicket, and he's going to go back to mid-wicket, but that gap wasn't there to be plugged.
Now, I can sort of understand that. You know, Jacks is on 34 and the danger man at the minute, and they're going to try and look to bowl as much as they can to Laurie Evans.
Here's Harrison bowls, and Evans has gone slightly aerial, but slightly into out as well as he drives that up to deep mid-off, where Chris Wood does the fielding. That'll be another single, 58 for 1.
It shows the value of having, said again, Mason Crane spinning it both ways, because Mason, he spins the ball, he puts so much revs on it, and that's why he's so successful in his format of the game.
Yeah, I think he might have got a bit more out of this wicket than he has in some of the others he's played on, although of course he's been bowling well in this tournament. That's just worked out behind square on the leg side. Tidy first over there from Calvin Harrison, just the 4 singles off it, and Surrey have moved on to 59 for 1 after 8 overs.
Be interesting to see who's going to come on from the far end. It looks like Scott Curry. I think going back to Scott, he did well at Canterbury, didn't he, in that 4-day game? Got a few runs,
yes,
and bowled nicely, so he's certainly one, you know, for the future, and Hampshire fans should be very excited about.
Yep, so let's see Scott Curry at some point, and then, well, as you say, James Fuller maybe. hopefully we might see him, having not bowled in the last handful of games or so for Hampshire. But Scott Curry it is who's coming into the attack, and I know everybody at Poole Town Cricket Club listen when he's playing, and I know they've enjoyed his success this year, and still only a youngster playing for England under 19 last winter. And,
good thing about Scott is that he wants to bowl. You face him in the nets and he runs in, he gives 100% and always trains hard. And that's such a good trait to have.
So Curry into the attack for Hampshire, and he's bowling to Jacks, who works a good length ball up towards deep mid-on. They may look for 2 here. No, that's well fielded. Is that Ryan Stevenson at the far end? I think it is. Did really well there. No, it's not.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was Ryan Stevenson. Yeah, quick.
Brilliant bit of fielding.
Ryan Stevenson we haven't seen bowl yet.
No, we haven't. Excellent bit of fielding though. I mean, exceptional from Ryan.
Yeah, but as you're saying, there's plenty of options, isn't there? Tom Scriven as well, of course. Bowled well down at Canterbury in that 4-day game as Curry comes in right arm over, and that's driven in the air but safe, gone wideish of mid-on, but it's only a single. Again, Stevenson does well, showing that he's equally as quick running to his right as he is to his left.
Brilliant, isn't it? I mean, Hampshire have been pretty good in the field here. From low score, they're going to have to create some energy, and they've been brilliant, and that just shows there from Steve-O, charging round 2 balls in a row, that it's there's a good buzz out there.
You're right, yeah, probably already better than it was against Essex and certainly against Kent. Here's Curry again, then bowls, and it's short. It's pulled away, hammered away by Jacks, and that's going for 6 over mid-wicket. Just picked it up.
It's a good shot, I think. It's the field's set, for that sort of delivery. And Jacks is, he's had the confidence to hit it over the fielder, and he's in fine form. He's on 42 off 22 balls.
It's almost a short-armed pull shot, which just flew off the bat. He moves on to 42 off 22. Good strike rate from him as Curry comes in again and bowls. It's a little bit fuller, rather predictably, and it's hit, and that split the field as well. Just wide of mid-on, and Stevenson, he's quick, but he can't be that quick.
No, I mean, that would have been a great bit of fielding again, wouldn't it, from Stevenson? But again, probably a little bit too full from Scott there. And Jacks is up to the task by beating mid-on and mid-wicket.
Yep. 67 for 1. I'll do an update for Radio Sonnet listeners shortly on the South Coast, and then Mark Church will join Liam Dawson. Here's Curry again from that hotel end bowls. It's slightly short of a length and just worked behind square on the leg side by Jacks, who moves on to 47, and it's 72 for 1 now. Surrey needing 67.
Can't work out Brad Wills on the field for not sure who. Any idea, JMO?
I don't. I'm going to have a look around at the moment. Will Brewster, who's the one of the Hampshire media men here. I was talking about Jackson Bird earlier when I was talking about the Australian that was playing, so thank you for that, Will. As slightly slower ball from Curry, and that's worked hard again out towards Stevenson, who does well again at mid-on. He's certainly been kept in the game in this over, and he's been equal to it. 73 for 1 Surrey at the end of the 9th.
Yeah, he's had a work out there, hasn't he, Ryan? Long on, but he's done a brilliant job for his team. Always puts in 100%. You know what you're going to get, and hopefully he can get a couple of wickets when he does come on to bowl.
I'm just going to do an update in a moment, so Liam, I'll just take over for the moment. 11 to go if Surrey need them all. 66 to win here, and they are 73 for 1. And Will Jacks has 47 off 24. Laurie Evans 20 off 19. Jason Roy, the one man out so far, he perished for 6. Here's Calvin Harrison with his second over, and that's hit high over on the leg side, and that is 6 runs. Nice shot there from Laurie Evans, just a slog sweep away on the leg side. Wasn't a bad ball, but Evans, that's a good shot from him. 54 partnership between these two, and it's come off just 34 deliveries. I'll just keep going, Liam, just for the moment while I wait for Radio Sonnet listeners to meet with us. I've got an update from Lewis McManus here, who's tweeted something here, the Hampshire wicketkeeper. We thought that he was one of the Hampshire players self-isolating. Well, Lewis McManus has tweeted, gutted to be missing today's game, about to head down for surgery. Thought the missus had cooked something dodgy, but turns out it's appendicitis. So there we go. So it's appendicitis. Lewis McManus. Hope the surgery goes well. Just waiting for the ball to come back because it's made its way down the tunnel. And if it's kept going and the doors are open, It may have been quite a long way over the nursery ground as well, but it looks like it's on its way back, with Surrey 79 for 1. And we are in the start of the 10th over here. Calvin Harrison, the leg spinner, comes in and bowls, and Evans drives up to mid-off. Wood moves to his left, though they were thinking of 2, but just 1 it is. Right, here's that update. It's coming up right now. Hampshire are trying to defend a total here of 138 for 8, built around Ian Holland's 65. But Surrey have made a good progress here. They're the table toppers. They are 80 for 1, needing another 59, and they have just over 10 overs left in the game. Live commentary right now via the BBC Sport website and app.
Thank you, Kevin. BBC Radio Solar News.
I said 65, it probably wasn't 65, but I didn't look at my notes at the moment. It was 60 odd anyway. 81 for 1, 3 overs left, sorry, 3 balls left of the 10th over, and then Mark Church will come in. Calvin Harrison then, bowling to Laurie Evans, and Evans is on the back foot and just cuts that on the 45, and they'll pick up a single. And Surrey move on to 83 for 1. Difficult to stop these runs here at the moment, Liam, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like Surrey have sort of tried to put a little bit of momentum back into the innings. They've looked to target Calvin here, and at the minute they're cruising.
9 runs off his over so far, bowls, and that's a good delivery, as Jacks just came down the wicket and didn't quite get to the pitch of the ball and just played it quietly out on the onside. 1 ball left of the 10th over. As Harrison, at the top of his mark, comes in and bowls to Will Jacks once more, and Jacks is on the back foot and plays and misses. Oh, was there an edge? I think there was. I think there was an edge there through to James Vince, and I think it may have been putting down. I'm just looking at some of the fielders' reaction there. Either that or it's just glazed the off stump, but I think it might have been a fraction of an outside edge.
Yeah, it looked like that. I think from the reaction of James Vince, it looked like he got a little bit of a nick on that, so it's disappointing from Vince, and obviously Harrison as well could have picked up a wicket, but it's a chances Hampshire have got to take with a score on 82 for 1 and only needing 5.7 and over. So welcome back, Churchy.
Thank you very much indeed. Do you know who I feel really sorry for today? Yeah. Lewis McManus's other half. Blaming her cooking. There, well, good luck to Mr. McManus. Hope that all goes okay. It's no fun appendicitis, is it? Poor fella. But yeah, I thought it was me other half's cooking. It's nice, isn't it? Let the whole world know.
You must be over the moon for Surrey's.
Yeah, they've done it very well so far, haven't they? Will Jacks has been outstanding in this comp with the bat. You know, he's coming off the back of 2 consecutive 50s, and Laurie Evans is just a very experienced pro now, isn't he? Especially in this form of the game. So yeah, very good so far. Ryan Stevenson's into the attack. Oh, and that one goes past the outside edge as Laurie Evans looking to drive. Started the 11th over.
Yeah, it's been it's just been professional, isn't it, from Surrey? They're doing what they have to do, and they're showing why they're top of the table.
They just look a confident side at the moment. They really do, and it's going back to what we sort of spoke about at the start. That everybody sort of knows what their job is, really, and it's pretty straightforward when you know that. As Stevenson is in to Laurie Evans, good length delivery, and Evans just popping this one down to backward point. They'll take the single. 1 more to the total. Evans moves on to 29.
Yeah, I mean that's where as a fielder there you need 56 to win. You have to be on 1. If your best ball's going for 1, you're never getting back in this game of cricket. So probably a little bit more awareness needed from the lads that are in the ring at the minute.
Yeah, there's been a bit of that today. You describe it perfectly. The best delivery, they've still found a run off it. As Stevenson is in again to Jacks, and Jacks turns leg side. They'll think about 2. I don't think they'll get 2. It'll just be a single. And Will Jacks moves on to 49.
I think going ahead to obviously quarterfinals and potentially finals day, would Hashim Amla come straight back into the team?
Yeah, you'd have thought so. There's going to be someone who's going to be very disappointed to miss out.
It's hard to leave Hash out.
Absolutely.
Experience he has is world class.
You play him. Stevenson is in over the wicket to Laurie Evans, who drives. Handsome looking shot for 1. Straight out to the sweeper on the cover boundary rope. That would be 1 more to the total. Because you look at this 11. Obviously Jason Roy's come back in, but with Hashim Amla as well, Gareth Batty's trying to get himself fit again. They're going to have to make some decisions for a quarter final. If all of them are fit, as I say, there'll be some disappointed players, I think, because Stevenson is in and Jacks turns leg side, and this will be his 3rd consecutive 50 in the T20. It's been a very nice innings this from Will Jacks, and on to 50 he goes, and it's 29 deliveries, 6 fours and 1 6. And I think it's fair to say that as this competition has gone on, all the talent in the world, Will Jacks, but the penny has dropped now for Will Jacks, and he's playing it very nicely now as Stevenson is into Laurie Evans, who drives straight down the ground towards long off, and he'll pick up a single. And I think Will Jacks would say one person who's had a massive influence on him so far in the comp has been Hashim Amla, opening up with Hashim Amla, telling him, don't try and smash every ball out the ground. You know, just take your time, you'll catch it up. And yeah, I think he's had a massive influence on him.
I mean, we had Hash here, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, and he's such a brilliant man, brilliant cricketer. I can't believe how easy he makes batting. You know, he was brilliant, and you could almost, you know, could Jacks go down to 3? I know he's done exceptionally well, but to get Hash into that team, him and Roy open, Jacks to 3, then obviously it's tough, isn't it? You leave out Jamie Smith potentially, Rory Burns, Ben Folkes. You know, it's going to be one of those 3 if you look at that team. But I think Amla has to play at the top of the order, especially in huge games as well. Experience is massive.
Absolutely, absolutely. So 11 overs gone, 87 for 1. Surrey just reminded their targets 139. Will Jacks 50 not out, and Chris Wood is back into the attack from the pavilion end, and it's a short ball. It's the uppercut from Will Jacks, and he'll get a couple here. Down to third man, coming round the wicket. Wood just stuck it in the pitch, and Will Jacks waited and then just uppercut down to third man for a couple of runs. Yeah,
it's such a good ball here. You know, a lot of bowlers use that ball here because, you know, you're saying to the batsman, if you want to try and clear my leg side field to an 80-metre boundary, you know, good luck. Not many players can do that.
Evans waits on 33. Apologies, Evans on strike. My apologies. Evans on strike. As Chris Wood comes left arm round the wicket again to Laurie Evans, and Evans plays it again, just opens the face, guides this one off down towards third man. He's going to come back for 2 again. He's got to get his skates on, and he's home. Safe and sound. Laurie Evans moves on to 35, 91 for 1. Yeah, I was listening to your conversation with Mr. James there about Laurie Evans. I think that was it. I think Jason Gillespie took the punt that, well, hang on, you know, I've got young lads who need to be playing. You might not be getting in the first team, and because of that, Surrey on loan, and then Surrey said, do you want a 2-year deal? And of course Laurie started his career at Surrey, so he's come full circle. So I think that was the reasoning behind it. He's a hugely talented player.
He's a brilliant player. You know, I guess it comes down to a financial point of view as well, doesn't it? If he's only going to be playing white ball cricket at Sussex, you know, might not warrant that. But yeah, amazed that he left there.
This is a short ball from Wood, turned into the leg side by Laurie Evans. Wants 1, comes back for 2. 2 more to the total. And I think a bit like Ricky Clark, I think there was always that if the opportunity came up to come back to Surrey to finish my career at Surrey, then I'd take it with both hands. Same with Ricky a couple of years ago, and I think the same here with Laurie. I think, you know, he's loving being back at Surrey. Came through the academy as Wood is in. Short ball pulled by Laurie Evans down the ground. Hasn't really got hold of this. He'll just get a single down towards long on. Moves on to 38, 94 for 1.
You speak about Ricky Clark. What a bowler he's been for you. I mean, he just seems to get better with age. You know, every year bowls his overs, gets his wickets, gets crucial runs when he needs to, and I don't know how long he's got left, if he's under contract for next year or if he's still going.
I think he is, yeah. I think he's got a testimonial, so yeah, definitely. As round the wicket comes Wood, and little leading edge here from Will Jacks. Nicely bowled by Wood. He'll get a single as that just potters up towards mid-off, and they'll pick up 1 more. No, Ricky Clark, he's now... I remember when he first came back to Surrey, and Michael De Venito was coach, and it was against Somerset at Taunton. And he came on to bowl, and he bowled, I don't know, 10 overs, went for 15, 6 maidens. And I remember Michael De Venito saying, I've got a bowler now that can give me some control here. As this is a short one from Wood. And Will Jacks, Laurie Evans, apologies, looking to pull that hard over a short fire leg. Actually, just 1 bounce down to a freely, but he'll get a single. End of the over, 12 gone. And Surrey are 96 for 1. And I think it is that experience thing, isn't it?
Definitely.
He was the young I remember watching him in his debut, young tearaway at Surrey, and then went to Warwickshire. Had that strange old year at Derbyshire, then went to Warwickshire, and I think Warwickshire used him brilliantly, sort of coming in at 7 or 8, and then 4 or 5 overs and just bowl quick. And now back at Surrey, and as you say, so much experience and skill with the ball.
I think also as well, the amount of experience he has, because you have a lot of young bowlers there. I mean, that's only going to help them, and speak to a bloke who understands the game and understands county cricket, because you know it's tough just being a bowler in county cricket. You play so much, you know when to train, when to have a day off, and it'd be such a good experience for those bowlers to speak to him and learn from him.
Yeah, no, I think he'd admit that at the start of his career he probably didn't do all the things he should have done, and
even more reason to to use and pick that brain.
Absolutely. So yeah, no, he's a bloke that can talk you through an awful lot of things. Now, Afridi's back into the attack down here at the hotel end. This is to try and get a wicket, I would have thought.
I'd like to see Afridi come this end and just go complete aggression.
Right.
A few bouncers, hard length, 43 to win. Just try and make something happen. But for him to do that from that end is going to be fairly tough, because it's a small boundary.
Yeah. Yes. It's going to be Laurie Evans on strike on 39. Jacks has 51. Afridi left arm round the wicket, and this is a lovely pick up for 6 from Laurie Evans. Just on his pads from round the wicket on the angle, and Laurie Evans just a flick of the wrist. It's a lovely pick up shot from Laurie Evans, and that brings up the 100 for Surrey. And Laurie Evans there, as I say, nothing more than a little flick of the wrists, soared away for 6 runs.
Just shows what pace does, doesn't it? I mean, pace on the ball. As a batsman, you don't really have to hit it, and Laurie Evans did exactly that, and it's gone a long way into the stand.
Good partnership between these two now. Evans on to 45 as Afridi's in. He's backing away outside the leg stump. He's absolutely hammered that through extra cover for 4. Wow, what a shot that is from Laurie Evans. Leant back and nailed it. He's on to 49. It's 106 for 1.
I mean, he's well on top of Afridi now, and he's 2.2 overs, none for 32, so he's having another tough day at the office. But as you said, what a shot from Laurie Evans. I'm not sure he could have hit that any harder than what he did.
That absolutely flew away to the boundary rope.
You wouldn't even know he's on 49. He just seems to have gone about his business and scored very freely.
As round the wicket comes Afridi again to Laurie Evans. There's his 50. Very nice innings this from Laurie Evans. Very measured this from Laurie Evans today. 50 not out from 34 balls. 3 4s, 2 6s. Gets a round of applause from his teammates down there below us. I think the other thing with Afridi, as you guys were saying, 3.5 months now he's been here in hotel. He's still also a very young man, isn't he? 107 for 1. As round the wicket he comes once again to Jacks, and Jacks turns this one out towards deep mid wicket. Will take a single. One more to Will Jacks. 52 to Jacks. Surrey move on to 108 for 1. So yeah, he's still a young lad, and it's been a strange old situation to come into as well.
Yeah, I think more credit to him to come as well.
Yeah,
he could probably have the option to go home, but to come and play is brilliant.
As round the wicket he comes once again to Laurie Evans, and this one's turned by Evans down towards long on. They'll take another, oh no, misfield, and they'll get 2 here. Misfield coming in off the boundary rope, and they'll pick up a couple there. And just at the moment, from a Hampshire point of view, wheels have slightly come off.
I think the body language is gone as well in there. I think you can tell from up here. It's amazing what you see from up here than what you actually see from when you're playing or in the changing room. Yeah, the body language, certainly looks like it's down now.
Yeah, it does a bit. As Afridi runs towards us, comes round the wicket to Evans, and Evans digs out a good Yorker, and that rolls straight back up the pitch. And there is no run. Thank you to Liam Dawson. Mr. Kevin James is coming back in, and really good to see Liam Dawson this afternoon on his crutches, poor fella. But absolutely wonderful to see him, and fingers crossed this rehab is going to continue. 110 for 1. Evans 52, Jacks 52. So off goes Mr. Dawson. He's pretty quick on those crutches. And it's 110 for 1, but 14 off the over there from Afridi. Welcome back, Kevin James.
Hello.
We were just saying the body language from Hampshire at the moment's just dropped off now, thanks to a very good partnership from these two. It really has been. 94 it's worth. It's going to be Organ coming round the wicket from this, the pavilion end to Will Jacks, who drives up towards mid-off. And they'll get a single, in fact. One more to the total. Long off, I mean. One more to the total. Jacks moves on to 53. Business-like again, this from Surrey today. 111 for 1. Laurie Evans waits again as Organ's round the wicket, and Evans tugs this one down the ground towards long on. And they'll pick up a single. One more to the total. Evans has moved on to 53, so they're sort of matching each other run for run at the moment. 112 for 1 now. Round the wicket once more comes Organ. This is Sweat out towards deep backward square. Pick up another single. Just knocking it around at the moment.
Yeah,
aren't they, these two?
It was interesting. Yeah, I mean, when I was last time I was on, and Liam said actually the body language from Hampshire was pretty good, but yeah, they've just lost a bit of heart here, haven't they?
Yeah. Looking to cut here is Laurie Evans, thick inside edge, and that's run down towards short fine leg, and pick up one more. 114 for 1. As round the wicket again goes Organ, and this one tucked away by Jacks down towards long on. They'll get another single, and Jacks moves on to 55. 115 for 1 now. Evans comes back onto strike on 54. Stands with bat raised, knees bent, as round the wicket goes Organ. Oh, and this is massive. Huge from Laurie Evans. Over cow corner. It's not only gone over cow corner, that's gone over the entire farm and has landed in an adjacent field. That is a massive shot from Laurie Evans for 6. And Evans moves on to 60. This partnership's now worth 97. And Surrey 121 for 1. After 14 overs, so they require just 18 more off 6, with Evans on 60 and Jacks on 55.
Well, that's a huge hit, isn't it? That's cleared the boundary, isn't it?
Cool.
By some. Apologies if you were listening via the BBC Sports online website. You just lost us for a little while. Apologies for that, but you're back with us right now. And what hasn't changed is that Surrey are well on the way of winning this game. Just 18 needed here, and Will Jacks and Laurie Evans have put on 97.
97 now.
Wow.
Terrific stuff. That's a lovely shot from Laurie Evans. It really is. He played it very well. Again, I described it to Liam Dawson as very business-like, this from Surrey at the moment. No great histrionics, no great dramas. Just look a very confident side in everything they're doing in this form of the game.
Certainly do, don't they? Here's Ryan Stevenson then, as he bowls, and that's just worked to short third man, fielded by Shaheen Afridi, and it's 122 for 1 here, Surrey, and they have just under 6 overs in which to score another 17 overs. That wouldn't pose a problem, you wouldn't think.
No, shouldn't. The way they've gone about it so far.
Here's Stevenson in the sunshine here at the Ageas, and has tried to pull away on the leg side there, Evans. It was well outside the off stump, and he misses. Goes through to James Vince, the keeper.
Yeah, Laurie Evans, this has been a very, as he plays that shot and misses it, but it's been a very measured innings, this, from Laurie Evans. Strike rate's 150 for him, 160 for Jacks. Jacks, third consecutive 50 in the competition. Evans made 88 against Essex.
Here's Stevenson again, then right arm over. It's full outside the off stump, and that's drilled over extra cover, and that's going to be a couple of bounces for 4. Beautiful shot, Laurie Evans. There's the 100 partnership between these two, and it's come off just 66 deliveries.
Well, very, very good partnership from these two. They've done it very, very well indeed. And yeah, they're knocking these runs down, as I say, just in a very simple and neat manner. Really, no drama whatsoever.
When they've needed to pull out a big shot, in fact, when they haven't needed to pull out a big shot, they still pull one out of the bag. And it's been a nice mixture of quick running and big shots. There's another attempted big shot, but missed by Evans as he's trying to hoik that away on the leg side. Vince doesn't take it cleanly behind the stumps. No run though. 126 for 1 Surrey, 13 needed. We've got 2 balls left of the 15th over, and Hampshire are heading towards a 6th straight defeat. Surrey a 6th straight win.
Yeah, and I think when they get to that quarter-final, saying to Liam, there might be a couple of disappointed players for Surrey.
Yeah. Evans drills that away on the offside, and that's gone fast through point for 4. Couple of balls ago, it was to James Fuller's right-hand side, this time to his left-hand side, but the ball's just travelling too fast. No way you can stop those. And Surrey move on to 130 for 1, 9 to win. I think you're right. Once you certainly get to quarter-finals and finals day, players want to play, don't they? They want to be part of it.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to make decisions. You know, Amler's back. Batty comes back, perhaps.
Evans on 68 faces Stevenson. That's a good Yorker, but Evans still works that away up towards deep mid-on. 69 he moves on to, and I think he's going to keep the strike. Yes, he is. 10 runs off that Ryan Stevenson over. 2 overs, none for 15. Surrey need another 8. All yours, Mr. Church, from here on in.
Record, I'm just looking, record 2nd wicket partnership for Surrey against Hampshire back in 2016. Here we are, look, Dominic Sibley and Kumar Sangakkara. There you go, there, and Sibley, the 2020 player. Because, of course, when Sibley left Surrey, he was opening the bowling for Surrey in T20. And look at him now. For 131 for 1. So, just the 8 runs required now. Scott Curry coming back into the attack down below us.
No, Harrison.
Harrison, apologies. Harrison coming back into the attack down below us from the pavilion end with his leg breaks. Coming in over the wicket to Laurie Evans, who swings him over long off for 6. It's a lovely shot again from Laurie Evans. Couple of paces down the pitch, then inside out, over long off, and that sails away for 6 more. Laurie Evans 75 not out. Surrey need just 2 more for victory to make it 6 straight wins, as he's in once again, and this is short, and this is pulled by Laurie Evans, and that is the win for Surrey because he's pulled it for 6, and Surrey will have won this at a canter with 4.4 overs to spare. Laurie Evans finishes 81 not out. Will Jacks 56 not out. Surrey are won by 9 wickets. I think that guarantees them a home quarter-final now, but all I would say is that is a very neat and tidy victory for Surrey, and it's 6 straight wins. Surrey win this one by 9 wickets. 119
run partnership that in the end, and yeah, total of 28 balls to spare. And the way Evans and Jacks were playing, that's worth that's worth an awful lot of runs on the scoreboard. Yeah, a fairly easy win. It was pretty obvious that 138 for 8 was below par. Decent wicket. Yes, it turned a little bit, but there was pace on the wicket, a little bit of bounce as well, which the batsmen like. And I know Laurie Evans is a good player. We know Laurie Evans is a good player, but I think that's about as good as I've seen him play in one-day cricket. Clean hitting, strong hitting, big boundaries here at the Ageas Bowl. And he's got the ball over the rope with ease at times. And don't take anything away from Will Jacks. I know he's having a fantastically good T20 tournament this year. I would say he was almost a perfect foil there for Laurie Evans, because Evans was just demolishing the bowling there. 81 of 46 deliveries. Some good hitting, as I say, and Hampshire well beaten on the day.
I'd describe Laurie Evans there as incredibly controlled. I thought he was just very, very in control of everything, and that just enabled Will Jacks to play his way at the other end. And you know, Will Jacks is no slouch, as we know, but Laurie Evans there has just come out and played a very controlled innings. 81 for 46 deliveries. Jacks 56 from 35, and very neat, very tidy. Reece Topley, of course, 4 for 20. So yeah, Surrey just look a very, very good T20 side at the moment.
They certainly do. Do you want to stick around for a couple of minutes, or do you
around,
disappear?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Liam Dawson's joined us, well, just stay online on the BBC Sport website and also via the live stream, Hampshire Cricket live stream. Just a couple of minutes just to dissect the game and dissect one or two performances. That's great hitting. And we see, unfortunately, Hampshire have been on the receiving end of some clean hitting in this tournament and big partnerships and what have you. But it's another big defeat, isn't it? I mean, this time they've lost with 28 balls to spare by 9 wickets.
Yeah, I think we said earlier, you don't mind losing games of cricket as a player, but I think when you're not even in the contest for the majority of the game, and the majority of this competition, we've been beaten too easily, and I think that's the most disappointing thing from a club's point of view, not to compete. And as I said, it's not good enough. It's poor, and I think the supporters are going to be angry as well, which is fair enough. But yeah, it's certainly been a shocking campaign for Hampshire.
Mark, I mean, no result is a no result. That was the first game. Then you had a tie against Essex. You lost against Kent. But they often say in this tournament that it's not what you do in the first couple of games. It's how you play as the tournament progresses. And as you get towards a quarter-final, and they're all coming pretty thick and fast here, quarter-final, finals day, looks like you guys are peaking at the right time. Yeah,
and what I would say is going into that game against Kent, all right, you've qualified, you're getting a home draw, but you still want to be winning that game, because you want to go into that quarter-final winning games of cricket. So it's 6 straight wins. If they can make it 7 straight, they take that into the quarter-final. But I just think, Liam mentioned it, I just think at the moment, let's say Amla comes back, Batty comes back.
So he'd have to open the batting now, though, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but then you're going to have to, who are you dropping? At the moment. So it's that old football cliche, Vikram will say, it's a lovely position to be in. But actually, yes, I think what they're desperately keen to do now is, right, great, done this today, let's get the last one done against Kent. Very good side. Kent will be pushing obviously for their quarter-final spot as well, depending on how this afternoon goes. But you want to be taking that in. What you don't want to do is sort of trip up in that game. No, you've already got the quarter-final, and then go into the quarter-final. You want to just keep this roll going into the quarter-final. So Surrey will be very, very focused on that on Sunday. But as I say, with players coming back, it's going to be some tough decisions to be made for the Surrey management.
And we feel for you a little bit, that's for sure. Perhaps send some players this way, down south, perhaps. But a lovely position for Surrey to be in. But Liam, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, they're missing some players anyway. It looks like we said earlier that I think we put 2 and 2 together, and when we were told via an official statement from Hampshire that players were self-isolating because of the situation and what have you, I think just to put the record straight here, it looks like Lewis McManus, the keeper, actually has appendicitis and is going in for operation. He tweeted that earlier. I think we've all put 2 and 2 together and thought that he was part of the players that were self-isolating. It looks like that's not the case, but certainly 1 or 2 others are that were missing today. But I don't know, where did Hampshire go from here, the last game, Liam?
Not turn up Sunday.
Self-isolate everybody.
Exactly, yeah. Listen, I mean, there's nothing. You're at a point now as a change room where you're actually hoping that the season comes to a close quickly, because whatever you do is not working. It hasn't been good enough, and we're gonna have to sit down as a group and really discuss next year and the type of players that we need, because we certainly need to bring in a couple of players, to improve us to be competitive. Because at the minute we are nowhere near good enough. No.
Do you think, listen, there's always positives in sport, doesn't matter how bad things get, whatever happens, there's always positives. Do you think actually that in a way, in a kind of, I don't know, a perverse way in a way, that because Hampshire are being hammered now by quite a few in most games, that actually it's leaving nobody in any doubt, and I'm talking people that have the influence, of actually sorting the team out as much as they can, that actually we won't rely on such and such and such and such next year. We might have done, but actually now we really actually have got to really sort this out.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? I mean, you need depth to win any trophy, no matter what format of the game you play in. And people have had opportunities in this campaign and probably haven't taken them like they should, more probably from a batting point of view. But as I said, I think going forward we certainly need, in my opinion, a couple of middle order players, potentially overseas players that are going to win us games of cricket and get us over the line. But as I said, that's not my decision to make, but it's certainly frustrating watching, and if I was playing, I'd be gutted as well, because it's certainly not good enough.
Thank you very much, Liam. Thanks for coming back up. Final word from Mark Church. Hampshire lost by 9 wickets at Surrey in this competition. 11 overs a side game. They've lost by 9 wickets here this afternoon. Are Surrey going to win this?
I can't see why not. You know, they are. I tell you what, it's going to be a damn good side at the moment that beats them. Because I know Notts are playing some brilliant cricket at the moment as well in the T20, but I just think, and you know, I've been doing this a long time now, and I just think this is a T20 side. Take Surrey out of it. This is a T20 side where every player seems to know exactly what their job is, and that's a terrific position to be in. So I don't see any reason why they shouldn't. You know, that they've definitely got the side there to do it, and they've got every player. He's in good form and full of confidence. So it's going to be a very good side that beats them, I think, at the moment, because, as I say, they're playing with so much confidence. So, yeah, look, at the moment, I would be saying Surrey, if they keep going like this, have every chance of winning this competition.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Surrey
you.
are next at
home against Kent on Sunday.
Thank you very much. Mark Church, enjoyed you being around. Thanks for watching and listening. Of course, Liam Dawson's just made his way down. Maybe, I wouldn't say into the change rooms. He might want to pass that on the way down. Just keep going down the stairs. But anyway, it won't be a very happy Hampshire dressing room down there, because, again, they've lost quite heavily. Their 6th straight T20 defeat. We will be back with you for the last time on Sunday when Hampshire host Middlesex. But yeah, another disappointing afternoon, I'm afraid. Hopefully things might change between now and Sunday. You never know. I've been Kevin James. Thank you for watching the stream. Thank you for listening via the BBC Sport website, and we'll be back with you just before 2 o'clock, in fact 1:45 on Sunday afternoon.